The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
A victory for the New York Jets. They defeat the Atlanta Falcons and get win number 3 on the season. Postgame show starts right now. Let's hit it and get it started.
I'm out here to win every game, and I'm not just tanking it.
A new chapter for the Jets has started. Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are tasked with shaping the future of this franchise. Will they be the ones to finally get it right? We will be here for every step of the journey on the Jake Asman Show, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super Chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now.
Here we go, Jet fans. The Jets win, something we have not been able to say all too many times. They defeat the Atlanta Falcons 27-24. Second half comeback for the New York Jets. Tyrod Taylor leading them down the field, scoring a touchdown late to tie it, and then a game-winning drive that is eventually set up by a game-winning kick by Nick Folk, who's still just as clutch today as he was for the New York Jets back in the 2010 NFL playoffs. So the Jets win. They improved to 3-9, and immediately, a big portion of the fan base is going to be saying, how could we win this game? We ruined our draft positioning. Again, people, let me repeat what I've said for weeks on the show. The idea that the Jets were going to finish with one of the worst records in the league always felt like something that was unlikely to happen. There's legitimate players on this team. In fact, one of the players today that made a ton of plays was A.D. Mitchell. He's a really impressive young player that they got thrown into the Sauce Gardner trade. A great job by Darren Muji to orchestrate that. There's good players on this team. The offensive line has really good players on it. You have some decent wide receivers now, even without Garrett Wilson. Mason Taylor is a legit tight end. We know Breece Hall is Breece Hall. This is not one of the worst teams in the league from a roster standpoint, which is why if they finish 2-15, it'd be a major red flag for Aaron Glenn and the rest of this coaching staff. And there's still major concerns, I'd say, with a guy like Steve Wilks, the defensive coordinator. But this team has got players on it. They never should have been as bad as they were at the beginning of the year, right? The Jets got off to an 0-7 start. They were the last team to get their first win in the league, but they were never this bad, right? The Jets should not have been in a spot where they were in contention for the number 1 pick. So I've always figured the Jets are going to win a couple more games here. I said they would win today. And you know what? They did. More points in this game than I thought. But the Atlanta Falcons are not very good. And neither are the Jets for that matter. But you know what? The Jets have been playing decent football of late. They've won 3 of their last 5. What you want to see is gradual improvement. Improvement from the young players. Certainly improvement from the head coach. And despite how anyone feels about Aaron Glenn, the one thing he does deserve credit for, they're still playing hard for him. And that's not nothing, because we've seen other times in lost years where the team just quits. And the Jets haven't done that. They didn't quit against New England. They didn't quit last week in Baltimore. And to kind of validate what our eyes were telling us, that this team was playing a lot better, you had to find a way to win one of these type of games. And they were able to do that, right? Like, they validate that they have been playing better by playing a team in the same weight class and finding a way to win. Does this win mean that all is well with the Jets now and we have our head coach and Tyrod Taylor's the answer? No, but you have to validate that your program is at least headed in the right direction. And the ultimate validator of that is by winning football games, right? Like, the Jets on FanDuel entering the game today were a 3-point underdog, and we are presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. So, like, it was not shocking that they won. I picked the Jets to win all throughout the week. I picked them on the radio today to win 20-17. It ends up being higher scoring than we thought. But ultimately, like, Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons in a late November game shouldn't come into your building and just definitively win. And the Jets showed up today. There's still some things they got to clean up. The penalty at the end of the game really could have cost them. Thank God Nick Folk bailed them out. right? A 50-yard field goal turned into closer to a 56-yard field goal. And Nick Folk, who's been clutch all year, finally missed a kick earlier in the game, but I don't think anyone had any doubts he was going to hit it at the end there. I know I didn't. I expected him to hit it. And look, ultimately, are there some major issues with this team? Of course, they're 3-9, but they have won 3 of their last 5. They're playing better. Anyone who's questioning whether or not Tyrod Taylor is an upgrade over Justin Fields at this point, please. If you still think Justin Fields is better than Tyrod, I mean, you really need to check yourself in to a mental institution. And this is not to tell you that Tyrod Taylor is a great quarterback or even a good quarterback, but he's at least a competent NFL quarterback if you protect him. And on the deep ball to A.D. Mitchell, and we could certainly talk about his performance today and how awesome it was to see the Jets throw downfield and give him a chance to make some plays, and he hauled in that big one. Look at the pass protection on that play. Like, that's the stuff you want to see. Look at Olu Fashanu on that deep ball to A.D. Mitchell. Like, the Jet offensive line, they got some pieces on it. They have a legit franchise left and right tackle. Tippmann is really good. You got 3 guys of your 5 that are guaranteed to be here next year you feel really good about. Mitchell, Mechie. I know we had a tough day. We could calm down the, put John Mechie in Canton conversation we were getting from some Jet fans the last 2 weeks. But he could be a part of your team next year. In a perfect world, John Mechie's your number 4 wide receiver. Mitchell's your 3. You get a number 2 in the offseason, either in the draft, a trade, free agency. You never know. And then you have Garrett Wilson. Like, you're not starting from nothing. So if you're going to win games, you want it to be because young players are the reason why. And when A.D. Mitchell goes out there and he finishes the game today with the stat line he had of 8 receptions for 102 yards and a touchdown, I can't sit here and be that mad. We all want the Jets to figure out quarterback. The reality is when they made the trade that they made with Sauce and Quinnen, it was with the understanding that they are armed with the capital they need. If they have to move up in the draft to get their quarterback, they'll do it. And we don't even know, 1, what quarterbacks are definitely coming out. 2, where these guys are ultimately going to be projected to go. And 3, the draft order is going to change a lot more times from now on November 30th to the first week of January when the regular season is still going. We still have time, folks. Regular season does not end on November 30th. The New York Jets still have 5 games to go. So the draft order will change a lot. The teams that are picking in front of the Jets, some of those teams will win. Some of those teams play each other. But the bottom line is, not every team in front of the Jets even needs a quarterback. So I understand we all want to have the discourse about how, quote-unquote, devastating this win could be. It's an exhausting conversation to have on November 30th. We have no idea. The reality is the Jets should not have been in a spot where they were, 2-9 going into this game in the first place. And at least they're starting to play better. At least Aaron Glenn is showing you some improvement as a head coach because it was Kotite bad the first 7 games. Let's be honest. It was Gase bad. It was, Jeff Ulbrich bad. But he's been better. The team has not quit on him. There's some positives there. Tanner Engstrand, I think he continues to be a little up and down. He's a bit handcuffed with what he's looking at from a quarterback standpoint. I thought the Jet offense did a much better job in the second half today than the first half, as far as some of the creativity and some of the passing concepts that we saw. They finally ran a short yardage quarterback sneak with Tyrod. That worked. More of that, please. So there's definitely some things that the Jets need to get better at. You beat a bad football team, but you're also a bad football team. And again, the Jets, their job going forward is to prove that they actually are improving, right? Like, we could do the moral victory stuff against New England and the Ravens, but when you play the Atlanta Falcons at home in late November, it's a winnable game. Like, Kirk Cousins should not come in and torch you. I thought the Jet defense did not play that well today. They made a couple stops late when they needed to, but the tackling was poor. And again, they still commit some of the dumbest penalties you will ever see, including this one. Why this was allowed by the Jets, why Aaron Glenn did not yank McCrary ball off the field with this dumbassery in the game today. I mean, this was some of the dumbest stuff you'll ever see. Stuff like that needs to be corrected, all right? But ultimately, the Jets, they win a game. Their special teams provided a huge boost, not just Nick Folk, but let's be real, they don't win this game today if they don't come up with the muffed punt. Stiggers recovers the fumble, and then they convert on the Breece Hall touchdown. So Special teams, which has been really good all year, gives you a boost. Defense still couldn't force any turnovers. They did have a couple sacks. And look, the offense played well in the second half. I mean, Tyrod Taylor is a professional quarterback when you protect him. And he was only sacked 2 times today. So, again, I don't think anyone is sitting here trying to tell you that, this win means everything for the New York Jets. And, here we go. They're on their way to glory. No one's saying that. But they have won 3 of 5. They are playing for the coach. And they're armed with all the draft capital they need to make their move for their quarterback. But I can't freak out about who the quarterback is on November 30th. And I'll tell you what. If Tyrod doesn't retire, Tyrod should be one of the veterans they bring back. Have Tyrod, someone else you sign in free agency, and then you're still drafting a quarterback. And guess what? If you don't find the long-term answer at quarterback this offseason, then you draft someone else again in 2027 because you need to get the quarterback situation figured out where you can't turn it around. But I can't freak out about draft positioning on November 30th. Let's see how it plays out. I truly thought that the Jets were going to win at least 2 more games going into their last 6. I picked them to win today. I think they got a legitimate chance to win one of the Miami game next week or the game when they play the Saints. So if they finish, let's say 4-13, you're still looking at a top 6 pick in all likelihood. But again, it's tough to be that upset with your team playing better and finding a way to win. I don't have it in me to be freaking out over a win. Would I be that upset if Nick Folk had missed the kick at the end there and the Jets had lost in overtime? No. I guess it's better than tying, right? I don't know if I'd rather tie. I'd rather just win the game at that point. Like a tie, what do they say? I don't have a sister, but it's like kissing your sister. I don't think anyone wanted a tie today. So, look, they won. There's some good signs for some young players. And I think you just have to live with the results if you're a Jet fan. Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Jets win. How we feeling? Again, Jet fans, let me know in the comments. If you super chat it, we will bring it up on the screen. Here's a look at the box score again. They had no answer for Kyle Pitts. Bijan Robinson absolutely torched them. The way Bijan is used by Atlanta, that is exactly how Breece needs to be used. Now, they did a better job in the second half with Breece, but it felt like in that first half, where was the Breece Hall usage? Much better in the second half. Tyrod today didn't turn it over, which is nice. They survived the bad drops by Mechie. By the way, for the Fields truthers out there, if that was Fields, any of the drops, it'd be like, but you can't judge Fields because look at all the drops. Well, guess what? If you're a competent quarterback, you could overcome some drops. And that's what Tyrod was able to do today. He did make a couple plays with his legs, which was nice to see. He finished with 44 yards on the ground. Like Tyrod, I thought played well. Give him credit. Again, if you keep him healthy, you keep him upright, he can complete a pass, to quote the owner, when talking about Fields who couldn't complete a pass. And I don't have it in me to do the, oh my God, doom and gloom. Like, is it kind of ridiculous that the Jets seemingly get a lot of breaks or find ways to win games when they don't matter anymore? Yes, but what's the alternative? We can't control the results. How we root as a fan has no impact. Sit back, your team won a game, and let the chips fall where they may going into the offseason. The one thing I think we could give credit to Darren Muji for have been his trades. And they might need to trade in the offseason to figure out quarterback. Either a veteran bridge we're not thinking of or a long-term answer that becomes available. We're moving up in the draft. Let's see how it plays out. But in the immediate evaluation of what we're seeing, you cannot argue that the Jets have not improved over the last couple of weeks. And by winning today, it validates that our eyes have not been wrong. They have been playing better. Now, let's be fair. The bar was incredibly low. They were horrific the first 7 games in. I mean, they were off to a historic start. No Jet coach, had ever started 0-5 in their first year. Glenn started 0-7. But, they won 3 of 5. The team's playing hard. And some of the reasons why they're winning are because of guys who are going to hopefully be a part of your future for the long haul, like A.D. Mitchell today and the guys on the offensive line. And I think that's encouraging. I thought Malachi Moore made a couple of nice plays today. A.Z. Thomas made some plays today. I think he's a starting corner in the league. I think what you want to see is the continued improvement. And obviously, that might lead to some wins here or there, but that's part of it. It's tough to sit here and kill the Jets for winning a game, right? If this was week 18, I get it. I'd be more mad. But there's too many games left. And the reality is, again, this is a team that is not the worst team in football. They're not. Like, have you watched the Titans play this year? Have you watched the Raiders play? Have you seen the Browns, who the Jets beat, by the way? Like, there's worse teams than the Jets, so we have to accept that. That's part of the reason why they made the Sauce and Quinnen deals. So they have draft capital in case they do need to move up and get their player of choice. And by the way, right now, the win today for the Jets, and I'm recording this postgame show live for those not watching live. It's 4:45 Eastern right now. The win by the Jets today, as of this taping, has moved them to number 6. It's not like they moved all the way down to 10. And the team at number 1 does not need a quarterback. Neither does the team at number 3. So I know the tanking discourse is a huge part of all this. I get it. But I think we got to relax just a little bit. Some other things I want to get off my chest. Look, I like Jonathan Vilma when he played for the Jets. I had a Vilma number 51 jersey. What he said during this broadcast today was one of the dumbest things an NFL broadcaster has ever uttered. Jonathan Vilma suggesting that the Jets could trade a first rounder for Mac Jones. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. That is one of the dumbest things that will ever be said by an NFL broadcaster. The downside of the Jets being terrible is that we get the D and E and like Z level broadcast teams on all the networks. And this comment today from Vilma, I mean, what are we talking about, dude? You just got to laugh. Just ridiculous. First round pick for Mac Jones. The Jets trade anything for Mac Jones, and I'm annoyed. A first round pick? Oh, you don't even want to know what I'll be doing if they trade a first round pick for Mac Jones. Good God. But I digress. But again, Nick Folk bails him out like it's the 2010 playoffs all over again. They win a game. Offensive line plays well. A.D. Mitchell plays well. Tyrod proves he's a better quarterback than Justin Fields, right? The move to go to Tyrod has worked. He gives you a better chance to evaluate your talent like A.D. Mitchell, who, by the way, in addition to his stats that I brought up, let's mention again that they threw downfield and he drew a pass interference penalty in this game too. The way the rules are, if you're not throwing downfield at least once a half to a guy with speed like A.D. Mitchell, then you're missing out. You're missing out. It's bad play calling and bad quarterbacking because they work in a tandem. If you're not throwing downfield, if Mitchell has one-on-one at least once a half, and hopefully with Garrett Wilson back next year, it really does open things up in the offense because I think they got some players between Wilson, Mitchell, Mechie, and let's add someone in the draft or free agency or the trade market. You have something there. So they've rebuilt the receiver room on the fly. That's another positive I want to accentuate. Throw downfield and good things can happen. And Tyrod Taylor will take chances downfield. Justin Fields won't. That's the bottom line. They lose this game if Justin Fields is the quarterback today. So anyone trying to dispute that Tyrod is not an upgrade over Fields, get your eyeballs checked. And this is not to say Tyrod is Superman. He's great. Oh, he's a competent player when he has time to throw. He's a competent player. He's not awful. He's not great. He's a high-end backup. And Justin Fields is a third stringer at this point, if we're being fair. And it's funny. One last thing on Fields, because this really rubbed me the wrong way. He apparently was asked about being used as a gadget player by the media this week when he spoke for the first time since he was benched. And he said he is not really open to it because coming in cold could create soft tissue issues. Are you serious? Justin Fields, the Jets paid you $30 million guaranteed. You're a team captain. Your job is to say, I'll do whatever the team needs. I want to help the team win. I couldn't believe reading that quote today on ESPN.com and Rich Cimini's article. Oh, he's worried about a soft tissue injury. What a joke. He also said, by the way, that he didn't anticipate being benched. He was blindsided by it. He was surprised. He didn't see it coming, which is funny because Justin Fields' lack of anticipation is why he's on the bench in the first place. Unbelievable. But anyway, enough on Fields. Jets win today. 27-24. They're now 3-9 on the season. They'll play the Miami Dolphins next week at home. Maybe there'll be more fans at the game next week than there were this week. You know, there's always going to be some straggling Dolphins fans who will be there. Miami's played better of late. So, you know, that's not going to be an easy game for the Jets. It's a winnable game. I think the Dolphins at this point are in the Jets weight class for sure, but that is a game next week that is not going to be, a gimme by any stretch of the imagination. It's just not. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Let's load up your calls on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline. I'm going to post the call-in link in the live chat. Make sure you click the like button if you're one of the 1,000 people in here right now. Appreciate all of you tuning into the show. Before we get to your calls, we're going to hear from the head coach of the New York Jets, Aaron Glenn. But I also want to share that we have a Black Friday deal on the jakeasman.com website, jakeasman.com/shop. You use the promo code Black Friday. It's 30% off all items in the store. Every hat, shirt, hoodie, the G5 t-shirts that have been a hot seller, every item in the merch store is 30% off through tomorrow. So that's midnight tomorrow. So even on Cyber Monday, we're extending it. So take advantage, buy some merch. Shout out to everyone who's purchased merch over the weekend. Again, 30% off. The code, you see it on the screen. It's just Black Friday. Use that at checkout and you will be all set. I also want to share, end of the show today, let's do a giveaway. A Jets Legends jersey. You pick the player you want the jersey in. Enter by sending in a $10 super chat or higher, or gifting the Asmaniac community a channel membership. You could pick between Joe Namath, Joe Klecko, Curtis Martin, Wayne Corbett, Rel Revis, Nick Mangold, Keyshawn Johnson. Those are the options. I send you the jersey should you win. And if you don't win, you're entered in the raffle on Tuesday for a signed Darrelle Revis jersey, signed LaDainian Tomlinson jersey, and a signed CJ Mosley helmet. So with that, we're going to get to your super chats. We are certainly going to get to your calls, but let's listen in to the head coach of the New York Jets, who is fresh off a victory. Victory number 3 of his career for Aaron Glenn. Here's AG.
All right, how you guys doing? You gonna ask me? I'm doing pretty good after a win. Now, the only injury that we had was TA. He had a groin. I think he'll be fine. We had a couple of guys that came out. JJ did, but he came back in, so he's going to be fine. I think that was about it. When it comes to this game, man, you talking about back and forth. Man, just ebbs and flows of how a game goes, and man, just the grit that we've been talking about for some time, and our guys being able to just gut this game out. And I keep saying there's no quitting these guys. These guys understand exactly what we're trying to build. And listen, even though we have this long-range vision of what we're trying to get to, the now is what's important for our guys to continue to understand, man, how do you win games, especially in situations like this when the weather was not at its best. Teams going back and forth, fighting. Man, we started out really, really well on defense. Then we had some issues, allowed them to score some points and get some yards. Same with the offense. We were moving the ball quite a bit in the offense. We just wasn't finishing the drives that we had. Man, special teams, as always, came through for us and made some really big plays for us to put us in field position to be able to get points. So there's a number of things that we got to improve on. Man, there are a number of guys that did a number of things. Man, what about AD? Going for over 100 yards and have and these guys, they still have a long time to be able to mesh with Tyrod for those guys to get better, because we have some communication issues that we gotta fix, and and that's to be expected. With two guys, the quarterback. So good win, something we could build on. But man, we have a long ways to go. Myself, the coaching staff, and the players, from an execution and collectively trying to get things together. We still have a ways to go, and we look forward to next week to getting ready to get those things going. So any questions?
What did you think of your quarterback today?
I thought he did a good job. I mean, again, I always like to go back and watch the tape, but, man, you saw some – man, he bailed us out on. I think he made some pretty good clutch throws, especially the bomb. I mean, we were looking for that, especially on an earn the first. We kind of knew what kind of coverage they was going to be in. Yeah, I thought Tanner did a hell of a job making the call and be confident what the player's going to do. Man, he threw the bomb, all right, to AD, which AD did a hell of a job making the catch on it. So, again, I want to look at the tape just from the naked eye, though. I thought he did a hell of a job for us.
What did you think about the defense? You added Nick this offseason.
Yeah.
And then kind of stabilized the kicking position.
Yeah.
Did you ever expect that he was going to – I mean, he's got a 58-yarder on the season now, the 56-yarder game winner. I mean, I think both of those would have been
Well, listen.
Apologies for the tech issues here. The New York Jets presser is not streaming properly. But we are getting some pretty solid Aaron Glenn freeze flames.
The one thing that he did throughout this offseason was, man, he did some things to try to get his like legs stronger or core stronger, those things that kickers do to try to get their career to be extended. Listen, he's been around a long time, but we just knew once we got him, man, that the kicking part of our team is going to be on point. It's going to be stabilized. Now, he's kicking 58 and 56-yarders, but you see a lot of kickers doing that now. You know what I mean? I think you see guys kicking 70, 68-yard field goals now. So, man, I'm just glad that we got him. I'm glad that we got him. And, listen, he still have years left to be able to play this game. But he's doing a hell of a job for us.
Beyond Nick, I mean, how much of a weapon has this special teams unit been for you across all the phases of it?
That's something that you know, I've talked about a number of times, and we spend a lot of time, you know, as far as meeting, as far as time on the grass. I'm one of the coaches that truly believes that special teams can change the momentum of a game, and that's the reason why we spend so much time with it. So, and I got a lot of credit to Banjo, Kev O'Day, Jet. Man, those guys have those guys ready to go, and again, we spend a lot of time making sure we get that part of our team on point, because I believe that, you know, you need all three phases to be able to win a game, and those guys have been coming through for us damn near every game. So our guys have a belief within our special teams that every time we get a return that we have a chance to score, and I think you see that out there every time.
You probably don't want him on the field ever.
And man, Mac is he is a weapon, and I call him a weapon. You know, we call him our sniper because he has the ability to flip the field for us at any given time. But man, it's the collective unit, you know, that I look at. You know, you have a damn good punter, but the thing is, you see you gunners. Stiggs is doing a hell of a job. He ended up being the captain for us today, and you see the plays that he made. With Kane out there being a gunner, and then our interior guys being able to go down and make plays. So it is a true belief on our return team, on our coverage teams, that those guys feel like they can go out there and they can change the game and create momentum for our team. And we put a lot of time into that. We really do, from a meeting aspect and from being on.
So what was clicking today so well that maybe?
Come on.
Well, I don't know if that's a true statement that it hasn't been clicking. You got to understand, those guys need to gel. You know, it takes time. I mean, I know we think this is a league where you can just put somebody in it and it can just happen, but it's not like that. You know, with him, Mitch, Tyrod, man, he like I said, he's had a week with those guys last week. He finally got 2 weeks with those guys. So I think just those guys continue to work after practice, spend more time in meetings. Listen, those two guys are at the facility more than anybody. And it's not just being in meetings with coaches; they're just catching balls in our in-house, in our field house. So, I expect that now, just to see how those guys work. I expect to see those guys make plays like that.
Did you think the kick was good off his foot? You know, and once it was good, what was your first thought?
Anytime Nick kicks the ball, I feel like it's good. You know, even when the one that he missed, I feel like it's good because he's a very accurate kicker, and I have so much trust in him. Man, it was good to see it go in, and for those guys to gut this win out and get this win, because it's more to me than just the win that I'm looking at. I look at these guys never quit, and they get bashed. You know, everybody on this team gets bashed for everything, and it's okay because we know exactly what we're trying to do, and we're going to continue to just block out all the noise and keep our focus straight ahead on that vision that we got on what we're trying to be as a team.
Did you know Tyrod was such a scrambler?
Yeah. He's been doing it all his career. That shocked.
Hold on a second. That might be the dumbest question that has ever been asked at any press conference ever. That is as bad as the Jonathan Vilma line about the Jets maybe could trade some first-round picks for Mac Jones today. Someone just asked Aaron Glenn if he knew Tyrod Taylor was a scrambler. God damn, this is ridiculous.
You?
Yeah, a little bit. 36 years old.
But he still can go.
What was your message, AD, when you got him? getting a fresh start here? And what have you kind of learned about him in this little bit less
Well,
than a month?
yeah, he's here for a reason. And, sometimes when these things happen, these trades happen, sometimes, people think that he's a throw-in, but he was never a throw-in. He was a guy that we wanted. And, listen, we watched him coming out of college. He's actually from my hometown.
Between the reporters' questions and this presser
so
freezing,
I've been knowing about this
God.
player for a while. So for him to be able to be a part of the trade, to be a part of what we're building, again, he's a true X. The body type is a true X. He has good speed. He can win one-on-one. So, I just look forward to see him progress as the season goes, and for him coming back next year and being a huge part of what we're doing.
With Tyrod like this for a guy who's dealt with the career up and downs like AD has, and some good, some bad, but to have a game like this where he seemed to be the focal point of the passing attack, made the big touchdown, key to with the catch to kind of set the field goal and convert a first down. Can this be a moment for him in his career that can really?
I don't know if the word career is the correct. I would say there are games where he had some up and downs because it was his second year. Yeah. So he still has a ways to go for it defined as his career. So he's always known that he can play. He's always known that. He has some issues, within his career as far as playing, games as far as being up and down. But I don't think he's ever lost confidence in himself. And I think once he got here, I think it just helped him with his confidence that he was wanted. And then, the players just gravitate to who he was as a player. And listen, we're going to try to get him the ball as much as we can. Obviously it shows that he can make plays for us. So I just think his confidence at an all-time high right now, and we want to continue to get him the ball as much as we can.
Thanks, everybody. Tyrod showering. Room's open.
All right, that is Aaron Glenn. And look, I think Aaron Glenn's team continues to play hard for him. They won 3 of 5. Again, it's not perfect, but there is improvement. That's all we could judge it on, right? In this game, the Jets were lucky to only, the Jets were lucky to be tied at 7 at halftime. You go back to the first half, the way it was trending, with Atlanta having scored right before halftime, when the Jets were lucky that they had the muffed punt by the Falcons, Stiggers recovered the fumble, then they scored on the next play with the Brees run. Could have been a lot worse than 7-7. Right? The pre-half woes have been an issue for the Jets all year. We saw that again where Atlanta scored before halftime. To the Jets' credit, they were much better defensively against Bijan Robinson in the second half than they were the first half. It still wasn't great. He had 90 rushing yards on 13 carries at halftime. It looked like we were going to get a low, ugly, kind of messy, low-scoring type of game that many of us predicted. And then there were some points in the second half. The offense definitely broke out. There was that sequence in the goal line or near the goal line, around the 15-yard line or so, where, Mechie had that brutal drop, and then on the play before, Mason Taylor was open and Tyrod Taylor didn't pull the trigger. So, again, Tyrod Taylor is a limited quarterback, but he's so much better than Justin Fields. You at least get a better evaluation of the players you do have in-house. And while he's flawed, he's competent, and that's what this team needed. So they could actually win some of these games they've been competing in, especially against a team like Atlanta that is in your weight class. And you look at where the Jets are right now with 5 games to go. I think the expectation should be that the Jets are competitive in all of them, that they're truly building on what we have seen on the field the last several weeks, right? They're not getting blown out anymore. They're not making the same level of stupid mistakes again and again and again. Big picture, this team started 0-7, and they have won 3 of 5. That's not nothing. With better coaching and quarterback play, they win the Denver and Carolina game. Definitely the Denver game. That was on the head coach. It was on Fields, but if he went to Tyrod Taylor at any point in the second half of that game, they win. So, again, the Jets have 3 wins. I think there's more talent than your typical 3-win team. And we're starting to see that be manifested, even with the trades they made, right? They certainly have holes, but they're not the worst team in the league bad from a talent standpoint. And again, how about the fact they're the only team in the league that's had 5 of their offensive linemen that started week 1 start every game at this point in the year? Now, they lost AVT before week 1, So it's a bit of a misleading stat, if you will, but they've had continuity up front. Myers has been, for the most part, adequate at center. Tippmann's been really good at guard. Membu's been a Pro Bowler already as a rookie, which is unprecedented. You just don't see it that often. And obviously, Olu, maybe a little shaky at the beginning of the year. I think he's been really good. Like, you have an offensive line that has some cohesion. You shouldn't be one of the worst teams in the league, and they won't be. Are they a good team? No. They're going to finish with double-digit losses and probably still only win 4 or 5 games. But from a big picture standpoint, I do think this is ultimately a positive for the Jets, how they have played of late, rather than finishing 2-15 and having every question you can imagine about the entire organization, coach, GM, all that. You go 2-15, it's that bad. Now, I'm not telling you that the Jets finishing 4-13 means you're not going to have questions about Aaron Glenn. I certainly still will. But you at least could take an optimistic approach, if you choose, that they have been playing better. That's what you want to see. Again, Tyrod Taylor is a limited passer, but he is far better than Justin Fields, and you're seeing some of the talent that does exist on this team because he is out there playing. And let's remember, no Garrett Wilson, right? The Jets traded away Sauce, traded away Quinnen, and since then, they have gone out there and they've won 3 of 5. The game they won in Cincinnati, Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner didn't play that day. They won after the bye week, something they never do. That's a positive if you're a Jet fan. I know it was the Browns. They still won. They hung around with New England. Better quarterback play. Maybe they are actually in the game. They were in the game, and the Breece Hall fumble, unfortunately, kind of ruined any chance of maybe pulling off the upset, but they were in that game last week. And then today at home against a team in your weight class, you went out there and you won a football game. Right? No Quinnen, no Sauce. Garrett Wilson hasn't played now in weeks. And with some of the new guys that you added to the team, like A.D. Mitchell, you're seeing some tangible results. Briggs, I thought, played a good game again up front. Brownlee was inactive today, but he's been overall, I think, pretty good. The in-season trades by Muji have been, I think, the best part of the season so far. Breece Hall today, I thought, grinded it out. He needs to be brought back. I'll continue to pound the drum to the fact that anything the Jets do this offseason, one of their biggest priorities should be retaining Breece Hall because he's a factor when he's out there. So there's holes on this team. There's concerns with this team. They need to completely revamp the defense. The secondary is certainly an unfinished product when you look at the safeties that they're playing right now. The linebacker situation is an abomination, it feels like, especially Quincy will not be here next year. They got to figure some things out there. But I thought A.Z. Thomas impressed today. I like the way he tackles. I like the way he plays. That tackle he made at the beginning of the game today was awesome. I think Stevens had a good game today, too. We didn't hear his name called a lot. That's usually a good sign. So they've stabilized things with the cornerbacks, right? I think Stevens and Thomas both could be starters on this team. Brownlee could be your starting nickel. They got to fix safety. They got to fix linebacker. Depth on the edge is imperative, right? I like Jermaine Johnson. I like Will McDonald. If there's an opportunity to get a big-time pass rusher with one of these early picks, you got to consider it. You do. Quarterback number 1 need. Pass rusher should definitely still be a need. Or sign a guy like, I don't know, this John Franklin Myers character is pretty good. I'd love to have him on the Jets. He's a free agent. Get me Jim Leonard as the defensive coordinator who's with Denver right now, and then have him bring JFM with him for his defense. That's what I would do. How's that for a suggestion? It's funny. I typed in John Franklin Myers on Google, and there's all these photos of him as a Jet, so I don't even need to use Photoshop to show you what that would look like. But look, they're a flawed team, but they are improving, and I'll sit here and not freak out that they won when I picked them to win. I thought they were going to win a couple more games, and this was one of the games I thought. So nothing today was shocking to me. I don't think the Falcons are that good. We know the Jets aren't, but you know what? The Jets aren't one of the worst teams in the league, and that's improvement because it looked like that's where this was headed when they were 0-7. I actually had people calling into this show, placing bets with me that they were going to finish 0-17. Think about that. So we have come from that to at least they're now just your typical bad team. But they've been playing better, and let's see if they build on it now down the stretch. I still think they're going to end up picking anywhere from 4 to 6 in the draft, and we'll see which quarterbacks are there. but I have every expectation that when push comes to shove, the Jets will be taking a quarterback in the first round this year. Nothing today and nothing, I think, down the stretch, barring them finishing 8-9 somehow, is going to persuade my opinion on that. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline is open. We're going to get to your calls coming up. Black Friday sale at Gusbuster. Listen up. If you go to gusbuster.com and you use the promo code BF2025, use that code at checkout and everything is 25% off, plus free shipping over $100 orders. So if you spend some money on some fresh umbrellas, and everyone at MetLife could have used a Gusbuster umbrella today, make sure you go to the website, gusbuster.com, BF2025 at checkout, 25% off. You get free shipping on orders over $100. Some super chats and then right to your calls here on a victorious Jet postgame. Anglick starts us off in the raffle for 2 with this $10 super chat. Thank you, Anglick. Special teams was huge. Didn't someone call the final score earlier this week? I'm not sure who on the show called the final score. My personal prediction was 20-17 Jets. Said that on radio this morning with Tannenbaum, but I'm sure someone had maybe 27-24, maybe more points than we expected. I know it didn't feel like at 7-7 at halftime we were going to get in the high 20s in this game. King and Dream says, who gives an F? We're bums this season. Look, I get it, K&D, but, you know, they still play the games, and Jet fans still care. There's still 1,000 people watching the show right now. Wayne writes in, Glenn is getting better as the season goes on. Muji's made quality trades. Agreed. Cheese man, props to the coaching. Mitchell and Tyrod, Jets W. Jets W, indeed. Coach James has become a channel member. He's in the raffle for 1. J4s NY says, I could see Jake asking Aaron at his presser, are the Jets as bad as I say they are? Hope this helps. Buy your dinner. No, I'd say to Aaron Glenn, good job. Keep it up. We're rooting for you. That's what I would say to him. We're Jet fans. Look, you could have doubts of the coach and be critical of your team, and it doesn't make you less of a fan. It means you still love your team. You know, I think people like this show because we keep it real. You don't have to agree, but I'm not bought and paid for. That's the difference. Zach Asman watching the show. Can we also address how good the trades Muji has made? Briggs, Phillips, Mitchell, Mechie all playing well. Also, shout out to the Jets special teams. That's been the most attractive part of the season. If you want reasons for optimism, Darren Muji's ability to improve the depth and just improve the overall talent of the roster in season has been impressive. And he's done it without giving up really anything that is significant. He has done it by trading away late day 3 picks. That is what you want to see. Comments, questions, super chats. Cut the line. Nick Shine in the house in the raffle for 2. If you are miserable about a win, I hope every steak you eat is well done. They're improving. That's the goal week to week, not get worse. Brownlee was greatly missed today. AD equals steal. Brownlee was missed. His energy, I think, was clearly missed on the defense. His tackling was missed too. The Jets regressed tackling-wise. Jonathan in the raffle for 2. All these early picks we have will be gone when we're forced to trade up to draft the quarterback. Muji/Glenn don't want because Woody wants to sell tickets next year. That's my prediction. Woody is the curse. Can we stop with they're going to be forced to trade up? They're not forced to do anything. They made their bed, and now they have to figure out how to get a quarterback. And let's be real. The idea that the only way for the Jets to get their quarterback is by trading up is not necessarily true. It's not where you pick, it's who you pick. And if you look at some of the best quarterbacks in the league, where were they picked? It's on the Jets to come up with a plan how they could get their guy. And the idea that it would cost the Jets right now, let's say they're at 6, it would cost them every pick they acquired in this trade, the trades they made, right? Let's use Sauce and Quinnen as the 2 trades. The idea that it would cost them everything to move up is asinine. It wouldn't. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it wouldn't cost a lot to move up. It might. But we also need to sit here and stop acting as though that this all of a sudden means there's no path to getting a quarterback, or if they want to get a quarterback, they got to trade everything to move up. That's not how this works. Thomas says, if the Jets stick with Darnold and head coaching, we wouldn't be here right now. Bless the pain always, Jets for life. Why are we talking about something from 6 years ago, Tom? Jeffrey C. in the raffle for 1. Tyrone Garcia in the raffle for 2. Good win. I like the receiver room once Garrett is back in, and once we get a QB, I'm looking forward to 2026. Go Jets. Go Jets indeed. Reminder, Jake Asman Show is available as a podcast wherever you get them. Apple, Spotify. Just search out the show, and the full YouTube show is available there each and every day after we're live. Let's get to some calls, shall we? Gus Buster Umbrella Hotline is where we are headed, where Barbarossa will start us off today. Hello, Barbarossa.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's a good one, man. I'm excited, and like you said, you got to be a real sourpuss to be upset about that. But I think what we can really be excited about is the first is like the offensive line overall. Like, I mean, Membu I think gave up 1 sack, but he gave Tyrod I think enough time on that sack where Tyrod maybe could have gotten rid of the ball. So I think the offensive line played really well. Defensive line, like Briggs did a good job. Who's the other guy? The other guy we got from I think the Vikings, the big white dude, he did a pretty good job too. Like you said, we need an edge rusher, and I think, we'll probably. I wouldn't want to address that necessarily. I don't know if I want to address that in this draft because, like, I think now that maybe we'll win 4 or 5 games, and we'll probably wind up if we want a quarterback, we probably will wind up, trading the Colts pick and one of the first round pick next year because we have all these picks to trade. So I feel like getting an edge rusher would be something maybe like I'd rather address in free agency if we're trading the Colts pick this year, a pick next year, and then doing a pick swap to get Mendoza or whoever whoever else we want. And then filling in with the second round with like a wide receiver or an offensive lineman. Like, kind of feel like that's maybe where we are right now. But I also really think like the wide receivers did a really good job. Even though Mechie, I think, dropped he dropped a pass or two. Like that one screen pass or that one cross route over the end zone, he just like dropped it on 3rd down, like kind of an inexcusable thing. But I think we kind of got a good core going there, but I'd like a big body receiver that I would preferably want to draft that guy, but I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, good call, Barbarossa. Look, I think there's a lot of ways they could address receiver. You could do it in the trade market, right? We saw DK Metcalf and George Pickens, for example, be traded this offseason. You could do it in free agency. You could do it in the draft, which I think would be the preferred way to do it. Colts lost again today, by the way. Look at their schedule. Still got to play the Texans again, and they got to play the Jaguars twice. The idea that the Colts have locked up the division, not so fast, to quote Lee Corso. So maybe it's the Colts pick you do it. I prefer to do it in the draft if possible. I'm biased watching the Ohio State game yesterday. Carnell Tate would look great as a Jet. Another Ohio State receiver next to Garrett. But the point is, it's nice knowing that instead of maybe needing 3 new wide receivers, you might only need 1 legit one, which is easier to do than having to completely revamp your entire receiver room in the offseason. That's a credit to Darren Muji for getting Mitchell and Mechie in these deals. It's a credit to him. Super chat from Jonathan. Woody runs the team. Look at the half-empty stadium today. He's trading those picks. Kiss them goodbye. You don't even know what he's trading. You don't even know what it would cost. So I don't care, what you want to say. Oh, kiss those picks goodbye. If you want to do doom and gloom on November 30th, that's your right as a Jet fan. But it's also our right to not have to listen to your nonsense. See you.
Now look what you've done. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the Sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give them another 24 hours to think about it.
If the Jets like a quarterback and they have conviction on that quarterback, guess what? If they trade up, that might be the right move. Because if they're right, that's the only thing that matters. Do you get the quarterback or not? And can we see what it would cost to even trade up? How do we know they're going to move up to number 1? What if they're picking at 7 and they need to get to 5? What if Dante Moore, Ty Simpson, and Fernando Mendoza are all options? All of a sudden, maybe you don't need to move up at all to get your guy. Have the Denver Broncos get Bo Nix. He was what, the 5th quarterback taken of that draft class at pick 15? Where was J.J. McCarthy taken? Oh, before Bo Nix? Michael Penix. Oh, before Bo Nix? Like, we could do this over and over again. Lamar Jackson was the last pick of the first round. The Ravens passed on him before they ended up trading back into round 1 to take him. Mahomes wasn't a top 5 pick. Josh Allen was the third quarterback taken his year. Justin Herbert, third quarterback taken his year. Jalen Hurts, second round pick. Like, we can't freak out on November 30th, people. If they won this game and it was week 18 and it cost them from pick 3 to, like, I get being annoyed. It's November 30th. They played a team in their weight class. They might win again next week, or maybe against the Saints they win. If you were expecting them to finish 2-15, the people out there that have that mentality, I don't know what to tell you. They were never that bad. That's why I was so angry with the 0-7 start, because I knew this is not one of the worst teams in the NFL, even with some of the clear holes they do have, and they have holes, and the issues I have with Steve Wilkes and that side of the ball. With competent quarterback play, which Tyrod can provide most weeks, they're going to win some games against teams in the same weight class as them. So teams like Atlanta, like Cleveland, like Cincinnati, they could beat. And Cincinnati was a Fields game. Cleveland, I mean, I guess technically was a Fields game. He had 12 yards if you take out the Brees Hall screen. Bleezy in our raffle for 2. AD was a great addition. That would be AD Mitchell. Excited to see him develop and give us a legitimate threat opposite Garrett. I think he has a tremendous amount of talent. You see it. He just needs an opportunity to play. He's getting that here. Same with Mechie. Craig in Australia. Jake, my guy, sorry to the Tank Truthers, but I was more than happy to see a win, especially seeing improvement across the board. Go Jets. Craig in Australia gets it. Big fella, great win today, but our linebackers are bad. Can't cover tight ends or cutbacks or runs. I like Quincy, but his over-aggressiveness is giving up big plays. I don't think he's on the team next year. Alex Anzalone is a free agent. He's a Glenn guy. I'd see if I could bring him in. That'd be my target. Jay Fish says, the gaslighting by non-Jets fans is so nuts. We should be happy with wins when we get them. If you're saying people that are upset with the win aren't Jets fans, I don't think that's fair. I think if you're a Jet fan and you were rooting for a loss, I'm not going to say you're wrong. I get it. I really do. I have basically trained myself to accept they were going to win a couple more games because I can't be that mad. Like, I knew they were probably going to win today. I bet more than I probably should on them winning today. This was a game. If you know the Jets, you know they win, and they did. Now, did I think maybe they would Jets it up just enough to lose at when they, had the classic false start, everyone but the center penalty at the end there? Yeah, and would we be killing Glenn for the lack of execution at the end if that cost him, if Nick Folk missed? For sure. But when you win, you get to paint the narrative you want, and it won't be as discussed as it should be. But that's what I mean with they won, and they are improving, but there's still some things they definitely have to clean up. And, the execution at the end of each half on really both sides of the ball is something that needs to improve. PBM writes in, draft an edge and a receiver, grab future Hall of Fame quarterback Julian Sain in 27. I'm not waiting till 27. I'm taking someone this year, even if it's at the end of the first round, right? They do what the Giants did. They traded back in to get their guy. I need a young quarterback on the team this year, maybe someone in round 2 if they are just dead set on not liking anyone in round 1. Maybe. We're not waiting till Julian Sain. Maybe we could take Julian Sain in 27 if we're in position to take him if next year's a bleep show. You can't do it. Adam writes in, we bottomed out in the first half of the season, only upward from here. That's what a rebuild looks like. Potential's undeniable now. The potential is, I don't know, that feels a little strong to me. Their 3 wins have been against backup quarterbacks this year. Kirk Cousins, Dylan Gabriel, and Joe Flacco. Now, to be fair, the Flacco game was a shootout. He was great that day. But I don't know. The potential's undeniable now. I think they definitely improved. But I think I sound like a Jet homer if I'm like, the potential is undeniable now. Like, really? I don't know. 3-9. They're improving. I don't want to be like, I want to toe that line, which is not easy to do, of like keeping it real, but also like not being overly negative because they won. And like, we're fans and we should be happy they won. But I don't know. The potential is undeniable. That feels a little strong. Maybe I'm wrong. Chat, let me know if the potential is now undeniable for the Jets. And if you think the potential is undeniable, good for you. We'll give you a hug from Woody.
I hug him every day. I hug him every day.
Taylor D'Onofrio says, why can't we tackle and why does Wilkes still have a job? I don't know if he'll have a job at the end of the season, but he's going to have a job for the remainder of the season. He should not, I think, be brought back. If Aaron Glenn's serious about improving, he shouldn't be brought back. Michael says, actually an enjoyable game to watch. Let's get the fins now. Let's do it. Squish the fish. And you know what? If they lose, all you tankers could be happy. So it's a win-win. Here's the remaining Jets schedule again, as the Jets now sit at 3-9 following their 27-24 win. Miami next week at MetLife, Jacksonville in week 15, Saints in the Tankathon Bowl in week 16. Maybe the Jets should let Tyler Shuck just throw for like 500 yards so New Orleans convinces themselves, we got our guy. And it makes it easier for the Jets to get in front of them to pick a QB. Just an idea. New England in week 17, and then at the Bills. The Bills, you would think, are definitely going to need that game to make the playoffs. An interesting scenario I'll throw out there. We'll get ahead of this. What would you prefer, Jet fans? Beat the Bills, but you hurt your draft positioning the last week of the year? But if you win, the Bills are eliminated from the playoffs. Would you rather eliminate Buffalo from the playoffs and hurt your draft positioning, or would you rather go out there and just lose the game? To me, it's an impossible question to answer now because I would need to know how far down are the Jets dropping if they win. Part of me would love to stick it to the Bills and their asshole fans. Oh, I'd love it. But then part of me has to see the bigger picture and go, what does a week 18 win really mean if we can't get the quarterback we want? But I would need to know how far back we'd move. All right, more of your calls coming up. But first, a shout out to Anthony Logerato, who's the first to gift a membership during the show. How about a 5-spot from Anthony?
You play the game to win.
Oh, yeah, Aaron Glenn. He meant to say this, though.
Hello. You play to win the game.
And the Jets have won today, and Anthony might win a jersey at the end of the show. He's in the raffle for 5. Let's get to more of your outstanding calls right now. Up next on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline is...
Get ready for Neil. He will make 13 points about the New York Jets and maybe hump a Patriots jersey. Get ready for Neil. He's probably smoking a big fat cigar and burning his house to the ground. That's Neil.
Woohoo! We got a big W, boys. Let me tell you something. I'm having a victory cigar here. First of all, I'm at the press conference, and here's my question for Mr. Glenn. Why the hell would you let Justin Fields tell you that he doesn't want to come in on packages and run the goddamn ball? What good is this piece of crap if he doesn't run the ball? That's what he is, a running quarterback. He can't throw the ball. Run. We'll make him that guy Hill. We'll make him like that. Let him come in on packages and run the ball.
He's not going to do that.
Why wouldn't he, Jake?
I think Fields at this point is a sunk cost. We just got to get to the end of the year.
$30 million. If you paid me that money and you told me to take my clothes off and run on the field nude, I'd do it. That's why you pay me the big money.
I think you would do that for a lot less than 30, to be fair.
Okay. First off, enough with this bullshit, tanking, loser mentality. Look, we've had so many seasons slip through our fingers in the last 4 years. These poor bastards stood in that rain today. This was like a game like Jacksonville, Jake. It was rainy. It was 40 degrees. I give the Jet fans a ton of credit for sticking it out there. And for all the young future Jet fans that are going to take over, we don't want to see them take a loss to these lowly Falcons. And I'm going to tell you, our defensive coordinator for next year is that Jersey boy that's the head coach of the Falcons. He might be the guy that's going to be our D coordinator. Wouldn't that be nice, Jake?
Well, I don't think you're crazy because Glenn does have the relationship with him.
Yes,
so
and he's a Jersey guy.
He is.
And he's a good defensive coordinator, and he will probably come in here and inject some youth and some, he could be like a Salah is coming back to the 49ers. I think he could be a good D coordinator for us. There's one good take for Neely I. Now let's go into the game. It's going to end up that this trade we made with Sauce Gardner is going to be the best trade the New York Jets have ever made. We have a competent receiver and 2 first-round picks for a guy who had a non-contact injury today, and he had to run off the field.
And what? Well, he was in a boot, so I mean, I haven't seen an update on what Sauce's injury is, but you don't want to see a guy get hurt. Like, come on.
Listen to me. I didn't say I want to see him get hurt. I'm going to say it again. The best. Muji made the best.
If they hit on the picks, Neil,
ever.
if they end up using those picks to either get a quarterback or take great players, for sure.
If this kid Mitchell continues to play well, he's a good play. He's a good swap just to get the $80 million off our payroll.
Maybe.
Jake,
Let's see. Let's see. Sauce was a 2-time All-Pro, though. I
don't give a crap, Jake. The guy was the highest paid corner in the league, and I'm going to tell you something. I like our new cornerback just as much. The kid hits. He makes tackles in the backfield. He covers really well. What the hell are you talking about, Jake? Get that Sauce Truther shit off. Get those rest of those uniforms you have, and let's do a burning. Let's burn all your Sauce jerseys, right? I'll buy every one of them, and I'm going to do an on-screen burning, me and Peter.
These goddamn exploding cigars. Like, gotta go, Jake. I'll call back later. Shit.
Neil's on one, man. I love it. Look, I like AD Mitchell. Can he make a Pro Bowl at least, Neil, before we say we do a Sauce Gardner for AD Mitchell swap? And look, I don't know Sauce's injury. I haven't seen an update on it. I know he left the game, came back in a boot. I'm not rooting for Sauce to play poorly. I'm rooting for the Colts to lose, but come on. It is what it is. It is what it is. Let's see here. I got some super chats. Freddie McKnight checks in here. He's in the raffle for 2. I was team tank until this win. Now I say best available on D, grab a receiver. I'm stopping you right there. Quarterback. Stop. This win does not mean the Jets can't draft a quarterback in the first round. Remember the Giants won too many games last year? They ended up with Jackson Dart. We have no idea how it's going to go. I'll throw out a random name for you guys. The USC quarterback. Jaden Mayava. What if he's this year's Dart? End of the first round, the Jets take him with the Colts pick, for example. We don't know. The pre-draft process is not started yet. We're so focused on these quarterbacks because the Jets are dog shit, so we've been talking about them for a while. We don't know. We didn't even know when the college football playoffs were being played several years ago. Remember when Justin Fields, this is funny looking back on it, threw 6 touchdowns against Clemson? Remember that? Oh, that's the guy the Jets are going to take. He's the consolation prize because we didn't get Trevor Lawrence. They ended up taking Zach Wilson. So Zach Wilson wasn't even thought to be the guy in January of the year they ended up taking him. This will change a lot. So, look, if people want to be negative and be upset that they won, we're not going to get the court. You be miserable till late April and watch how many mocks and things change all the time. Bang Mateo taking things out of context as usual. The best of doing it is Bang Mateo. Jake wants Colts to lose for a better pick, but the Jets to win for a worse pick. That's not what I said at all. I said it's a nice consolation prize that the Colts lost today and have a chance to keep losing because that will help the Jets. The Jets winning and the Colts losing, one is not the same. The Colts losing is good for the Jets because the Colts development and then winning games has no impact on how the Jets can win games. So I'd rather them lose so we get a better draft pick. And Tom Pelissero, by the way, reported Gardner calf strain, Achilles appears to be intact. Just saw that tweet. So, again, I'm not wishing any injury on Sauce, but this is not remotely close to the same thing. If you want the team to lose games, you could do that as a fan. But players play and coaches coach. You can't expect the Jets to lose. It's not how it works. More of your calls right now. Nick Shine is next. What's up, Nick?
Hey, I don't know if you're aware of this in the chat, but the Jets won today. I said it earlier in my super chat, Jake. The goal is to get better as the season goes on. Aaron Glenn is a coach. I think he got better. I think Aaron Glenn made decisions today that helped lead to a victory. We saw things in the beginning of the season where Aaron Glenn was making decisions that led to losses. So there's improvement in many aspects. Our special teams is elite. Our special teams is the best in football. Offensive line. Membu had his worst game as a pro, and we still won. 2 false starts, gave up a sack. We still overcame it. And that's the sign of a team learning how to win and learning how to grow, is that they overcome adversity and they find ways to pull it out. Are we a perfect team? No. But I don't give a shit if we're picking second, third, eighth, 10th. I want to be better now because it's less improvement we have to do down the road. I want to check some things off of the list of who we are at this moment in time so we don't have to improve on 50 things going into next season. We can minimize that and make it maybe 4 or 5 things that we can focus on. That's the goal. The goal is to get better day to day, play to play, week to week, game to game, year to year. Get better. I don't care when it starts happening. Detroit Lions, we mentioned it many times, Jake, right? 0-10-1. And then things started to go in the right direction. You don't know when the ship is going to start to turn a little quicker. But right now, today we're going to celebrate a win. And you can build on that. And you go beat Miami next week, and you get a thing called a winning streak. I'll take time while you guys Google what that is. We're Jets fans. I know.
We had it already. They won 2 straight earlier.
It doesn't happen often, Asman. It doesn't happen often. When I'm cooking, let me cook.
You play the game to win.
That's right.
Hell yeah.
Play the game
exactly.
To win.
If you get out of this season with 5-6 wins and you win a couple of these games late November, going into December, you have a thing called momentum going into the offseason.
Hey, are you a car salesman that always marks up the prices?
Isn't Dirty Sanchez the guy that likes to hang out with Apple Pie and Charles Gorman in Indianapolis? Pipe down, buddy. So that's the thing. Win. Find ways to win. We were without Brownlee, right? I think a lot of us figured we were in trouble. Bijan Robinson had a great game. They found ways to make plays. And earlier in the season, we would allow them to finish those drives. We'd never hit the brakes. We would never stop the drive. Now we're finding ways to do that. There's good things if you want to see it. But if you want to be a miserable SOB, you're going to find ways to be a miserable SOB. That's just the truth. And that's more about you than it is about the Jets.
Fair. And look, again, at the end of the day, how we root as fans has no impact. The players are going to play. So if they're going to win games, I will continue to argue it's better that they're winning games because a guy like A.D. Mitchell has 8 catches and 100-something yards today because he's a part of your future. That's a legitimate piece, no matter who the quarterback is, that could help you. So to your point, the more things that we could cross off of things you feel good about, A.Z. Thomas, you don't need another starting corner there, the easier it is to still supplement your roster and improve. Yes, they need a quarterback, but I can't freak out about, oh, this win means we can't get one. I always thought the Jets were going to win at least 4 games, even when they started 0-7. I never thought this was going to be an 0-17, 2-win season or worse. That's why I was such an advocate of, if it continues to look this bad, you have the conversation about, oh my God, do we need to consider one and doneing the coach? That's not happening. And they've won 3 of 5. And Glenn has improved. There's young players getting better. You have to live with some wins here, folks. That's the NFL. That's how it goes. And typically, the best quarterbacks taken aren't the first quarterback taken in most of these drafts. The vast majority of them, in fact. So everyone's got to relax, man. We don't even know where the Jets are going to end up. And there is a chance they move up anyway and they hit on their quarterback. And we all live happily ever after. Ultimately, there's just so many days from now until the draft in April. People got to relax.
And also, can we give a big FU to Fox for that camera angle at the end of the game? That was horrible. That was absolute. I lost the ball. I didn't even know it went in until the refs put their hands up. I'm like, where the hell's the ball? Because
you just got to get your eyes checked, man. You're
you know what? I'm aging, Jake. Calm down. You'll get there one day too. Hopefully, I'm still here to heckle you.
Hey, a win's a win, man. We'll take it.
That's the goal. Win. You can't get mad if you win. Not in the first year of a regime. Not when they're trying to build it. That team is going to celebrate in the locker room. That team is going to be happy. That team is starting to see their hard work pay off. Get on board, man. Stop being a miserable bastard in real life. I'm Nick Shine, and I support this message.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Shine's happy that the Jets won a game.
Now that is what you call a win. 3-9, we're not done yet. We've only just begun.
Now that's a win, baby. Yeah, more of your calls. Hit it.
Gator, I don't understand why I don't have an intro. Gator, I need an intro, buddy. A cool intro, please. I've been calling in, supporting Jake for over 4 years. You got Adam is too cool, Papa 73, and I don't understand why you won't create one. Women.
You have no sense of humor. That's the problem.
I don't.
When you have a sense of humor, then you can have an intro.
I'm worthy of an intro. All right, fine. I don't understand why I don't have an intro. Hey, Jake.
Hello, Rob.
I'd like to have like an orgasm after a win like Neil, but I'm not going to go that crazy.
A what? Hey, now.
Calm your freaky down.
I mean, he act like we won the freaking Super Bowl. That was hysterical. Neil, he's my Goomba, but I don't know, man. That was a little scary there. I mean, we're 3-9 for Christ's sakes. Like, calm down, guys. Nice win. Ugly game, nice win. We checked off things off the boxes. I get it. You know, I will say, Jake, Muji has been terrific. I mean, these acquisitions that he has gotten for minimal 6-rounders and throw-ins to the trades that we made has been fantastic. I can breathe a sigh of relief, I will say, for Muji. I still don't have that sigh of relief for Aaron Glenn. I see a couple of slight improvements here and there. Yes, I do. But he's got a long, long way to go. I'm sorry. I am one of those tankers. I do want them to play very competitively, game really close. Yes, I want them to improve. But I don't see the difference between 2-15 and 4-13. But if my draft capital is a lot better and I don't have to move up as high to get the quarterback that I think is good, or I can use those other picks to get a linebacker that I need, a safety that I need, another pass rusher that I need, the better chance of picking someone higher up, even for the other picks. Forget about the quarterback for a second, but even for the other picks, by not having to move because we're there already, I'd rather it be that way, you know, and that's kind of my 2 cents. Again, I was not pissed off that they won today. It put a smile on my daughter's face, and we both smiled, and we said, all right, they won. That's nice. But I tell you, Jake, I don't see this difference of winning 4 wins and the culture has changed, and now we're good. And we got a long way to go. Are you even close to being convinced yet that Aaron Glenn is your coach? Be honest.
Not yet, but I'll tell you what, like, you want to see improvement, right? And when you're improving, it does lead to wins sometimes. Like, there's ways to win and there's ways to improve and you don't win. See the Ravens game. They played well for a lot of it. There were some things to like. They didn't win. They've been playing better. It is naturally going to lead to some wins when you play teams in your weight class. So, like, you have to accept it. You know,
remember what you said, Jake. Remember what you just said. Playing in your weight class. Remember that. We beat these teams, and these teams were poor at best.
Right, but like you understand that playing competitively and losing like is only acceptable when you're doing it against a team that is clearly better than you or has a clear advantage at the most important position, like New England does at quarterback compared to Justin Fields. Right, you're trying to toe the line of I want every game to be super close, but we lose. It's like that's not impossible. Yeah. It's an impossible way to try and be a fan of your team. It doesn't work that way. So you have to accept that while maybe they will end up being better losing all these games, naturally, if you want Glenn to be the right coach and improve, you're gonna see wins. So like it happens, and it doesn't mean that they can't get their quarterback. It doesn't mean that they're unable to still solve their biggest issue if they finish with 4 wins versus 2. We have no idea how any of it's going to play out.
Well, that's it in a nutshell right there, Jake. If Aaron is still our coach or not.
I feel better about him now than I did if they were going to finish 2-15. I don't know how anyone can sit here and tell me that you would feel the same about Glenn if they finished with 2 wins versus them ending the season playing a little better here.
Honestly, I'm not even close to being okay with him as our coach yet.
Well, you shouldn't be at this point. They're 3-9. But can you acknowledge that he has at least shown improvement as a head coach?
Yeah.
So you got to hope it keeps getting better. That's my point.
No, I don't say there's no improvement. There's definitely some incremental improvement.
They're still playing for him. They are. They're still playing hard for him.
They're playing for him, but look at McCrory Ball today. Look what he did. Twice he made boneheaded moves today, and he didn't even bench this idiot.
Well, the problem is their depth at linebacker is abysmal. And like the fact that that guy even has to play speaks volumes on where they're at that position. So
Parcells would have grabbed him by the neck and would have thrown him out of the game.
I mean, the penalty that he committed was one of the dumbest things you'll ever see.
That was horrendous, Jake.
Yeah.
I mean, right there, Glenn has got to make an example saying, hey, get the F off the field. What the hell are you doing? This game is up for grabs. He wants to win the game, obviously. So this guy should be benched for doing stupid things like that. Come on. But,
I'll tell you what, they won, and they just got to live with it, Rob. That's it.
No,
you want to know why, Rob? Here's why.
You play the game to win.
That's right. What he meant to say was,
hello, you play to win the game.
And the Jets played today. And shout out to any Jet fan who was there. All 13 of you died, kid. But we did have a lot of people there. And I just love this fan base. And anyone who sat out there in the rain today, God bless you. Glad you saw a win. Ladies and gentlemen, our next caller was at the game today. He was gifted 2 tickets by Big Cho. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time.
If Mad Max ain't yapping about Jets, that boy, he's jamming. He's slamming, freaking dancing, wall smashing. I'm Jake Asman. If Mad Max ain't ever stopped yapping, that boy, he still be dancing. Then call Jake Asman. He got an orange wall.
Can you guys hear me?
No.
Let's talk about the game today. So it was a very great Jets win. Where's Big Cho? Where's Big Cho right now?
He's chowing.
Oh man, is he on the show? Because I would love to thank Big Cho for the 2 free Jets tickets. Big Cho. I took me and my dad to the Jets game today. Very fun. So let's talk about the game. So it was a very last minute, exciting Jets win. You know, I thought we played good on offense. You know, Dan Mitchell, he shows really good potential. That deep ball touchdown was really good potential. You know. And then our defense played better in the second half. But granted, Jake, there were some negatives. You know, we couldn't get a turnover today. We still have 0 interceptions on the season. Total net on the defense. It's terrible, honestly. And then we need to be more creative on offense. Like, why don't you use Justin Fields? Like Neil said, why don't you use Justin Fields as a guaranteed quarterback like Taysom Hill? Like, why not? Like, why? Like, he's good at running. You paid $30 million for him to run the ball. Like, and he's not a good passer, but why don't you use him like a Taysom Hill type of player? As like a runner, honestly, on the third short situations. What's your thoughts on that, Jake?
I think that the play calling leaves a lot to be desired at times. I do think that the way they played in the second half, Mad Max, with you in the building, with your dad, was encouraging. And they won a game that they typically have lost a lot under Glenn. So there is some improvement that we are seeing.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Because, you know, I think Glenn's shown improvement as a coach, you know. But I think some of the penalties were dumb as well with the refs. You know, there was a late hit on Tyrod. I'm like, they should have called that a penalty. It was like the refs are. I don't think the refs really did a good job, but I think the penalties were still a problem. You know, Jake. But some of the penalties are kind of stupid. Like, why no late hit on Tyrod?
Hey, Mad Max, did you hear Aaron Glenn's post-game presser when he shouted you out?
Oh, actually, did he shout me out? I didn't see it.
He heard you were at the game, so he wanted to dedicate the win to you and your dad being there.
That's cool, but I don't even know. Let me watch the Aaron Glenn presser after the train ride. Let me watch it.
All right, watch it and you give us a call back. All right.
Sounds good.
All right, Max. I'm glad you had a great time.
What are you guys' opinion on me doing a backflip through this orange wall?
Stand-up guy, that Aaron Glenn, dedicating the win to Mad Max. More of your outstanding calls right now, ladies and gentlemen. Up next is the wagon.
Jet wagons always cooking with jet takes. Jet wagons even cooking at the game. Jet wagon hates McDonald's, but he's headed home to cook. It's time once again for Jet wagon.
Chuck, what are we cooking after a Jet victory?
I've just been eating leftovers, so I got a ton of leftovers.
Good for you.
I knew Fox was bad, but they were so bad today. I don't know if you saw it, but at one point Fox had a interception for Kirk Cousins. I'm like, did I miss it? But it was just Fox being Fox, so they were terrible. McNamara had 6 punts. Only 3 of the 6 punts were returned. Do you know how many return yards the Falcons had with those 3 punts?
No, not off the top of my head.
-1 yard.
Again, special teams has been phenomenal this year, and
That's
that's
amazing. That's just to return 3 punts and have negative yards. That's just a shout out to the coverage team and to the punter. I do believe they do give Pro Bowls to punters. He's gonna get it. He must. He's by far probably team MVP, player MVP for the team. What else did I have in my notes? Oh, Malachi Moore had a team high and a career high in tackles today, so good for him. I had a chuckle when Adams and Clemens were the only 2 Jets players with a sack today, and we've been dogging them for all season, and they're the 2 players to have a sack, so that was kind of funny. Mechie had a down game today, especially with that drop, but I think in the long run, he's still going to be a good receiver for us. So I'm really, you can have a bad game, but I'm just glad that he's on our side of the on our team.
Chuck Wagon, do we have more leftovers on the docket for dinner later?
No, actually, I've been slowing down because I got full. This is
is that pie?
Yes, it's It's a apple caramel walnut pie.
Hey, let me bring on my food guy.
Let me look at that. That looks spontaneous. That looks delicious. Very good. I just had a cherry pie. Now, and let me just say this. That fight today, that was probably the best heavyweight fight we've ever saw. It was like a 15-round Apollo versus Rocky, but we know who came out in the end. We did, with the big right cross with the win. That's how you win games. That is what we're going to do. Anybody who starts bitching about us winning again, bye.
What B said. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, for those tuning in late, giveaway at the end of the show, your chance to win a Jets jersey of your choosing from any of these legends. Keyshawn, Mangold, Revis, Crabette, Curtis, Klecko, Broadway Joe. Gift a membership to be entered for your chance to win. We only have 7 gifted memberships so far, so I'm going to gift one to the community right now. You know what? I'm going to gift 5 to the community right now. A 5 spot. If you want one, though, here's what you need to do. You got to be eligible to get it by subscribing to the channel, liking the video, and making sure that you are engaged in the chat, and the YouTube algorithm will randomly select you when you become a channel member. I'm going to also add your name to the raffle here, so 5 people will be entered shortly, courtesy of yours truly. Going to get right back to your calls. Let me catch up on a few super chats here. Let's check this one out from Stone Cold Swagger, who's in the raffle for 2. Just here for a Jets victory lap. Let's go. Great day for Mitchell and defense overall. I didn't think the defense was great. They did, to their credit, make some stops late, which was nice to see. They were fortunate to win. They played a team in their weight class and they found a way, which ultimately is a good thing. As far as what the heck Ball was doing today, horrendous. Clemens and Adams stepped up. Clemens having a sack. Go figure. How about back-to-back plays in this first half? A near interception and then a Michael Clemens sack. I was like, what are we looking at here? What is this? Joe says Diego Pavia could be a name to watch. I don't think Pavia is going to go early in the draft. He's 5'11". Like, he's kind of like, maybe a day 2 if he's a 3rd rounder, day 3 pick. I mean, look, he's a phenomenal college player, and he should be invited to New York for the Heisman Trophy ceremony. He at least should be a finalist. He was sensational yesterday in that win over big fellas Tennessee Volunteers. But I don't know if I don't think he's going to go in the 1st or 2nd round. Could the Jets maybe take a quarterback and then take him later? Sure. I mean, the Redskins did it with RG3 and Kirk Cousins, who we watched today. By the way, no to Kirk Cousins as the bridge next year, please. Can we stop talking about that? It's going to be 38. Flight Risk says, can you give your coaching grades to this point? Head coach, OC, DC, special teams, O-line, DL. This is an incomplete because we still have 5 games to go. Head coach, I'd give about a C. OC, I'd give like a C+. DC, I'd give like a D. Special teams coordinator, Chris Banjo, I'd give an A+. O-line coach, I'd give a B+. Are we just talking coaching, like grading each position coach here? Right, because you asked for like the D-line. I don't even know who the D-line coach is. I'm just lumping that in with Steve Wilkes and Aaron Glenn. I don't even know who specifically coaches the Jets D-line, so I can't give you a grade on that. The defensive line, though, has not been good. I've been disappointed with McDonald, and I'm giving Jermaine a pass because he's coming off an Achilles injury, and he does leave the Jets in quarterback hits, but we need more from him. More of your outstanding calls right now. A lot of you are on the line. I promise if you're on hold, we're getting to you today. It's a victory show. Who knows how many more we'll have left? Ladies and gentlemen, Clifton time.
What's going on, Jake?
Hello, Kyle.
I'll tell you, I have to agree with Beast. You know, that pie did look spontaneous. Like 1 second it wasn't there, and the next thing it was. So, you know,
Yeah, there's nothing like spontaneous pie.
yes, I especially if it happens to be apple walnut caramel. So it's the one thing I will say about our victories this season, special teams seems to be masking a whole lot of warts on both sides of the ball. Right? We didn't really play particularly well on either side of the ball today, right? But, you know, we hit some big long kicks when we needed to. We had, you know, the muff recovery inside the 2. We had the extra long return from Williams again. In the Bengals game, I think that Williams averaged 26.4 return, 132 yards or something like that, total returns. And then obviously against the Browns, we had the 2 big returns. So I think that there's a lot more problems on this team than people are really appreciating at this moment. Obviously, we would love to get Garrett back and see what he would look like with some of our new receivers. I'd love to see Mechie as our number 4 and see if we could put Garrett in the slot. Maybe get a big X for the perimeter and we'll have you know, AD on the other side. I think that could be formidable. But like the defense today, we got some production from some unexpected quarters. Jawan Briggs has been pretty good, I'll tell you that. But there's still some problems up front. Consistency getting to the quarterback. The linebackers and the safeties are obviously, as you mentioned, a problem. It's just a matter of, you know, we can't seem to stop anybody in key instances. And you know, on offense, we didn't really do a whole lot. There was one big pass play to AD, and you know, we had another drive that we were able to somehow sustain. Tyrod got into the end zone, but that was really the extent of our offense when you really think about it. Because
well, let's be real. Yeah, the special teams provided a huge boost. They basically got the Jets 7 points.
Yeah. So let's proceed with caution. I think that when you have 12 picks in this draft and multiple picks the following year, and obviously we're probably not going to be taking all those picks because there might be some trading up involved. There's a lot of work to do to build evenly on either side of on each side of the ball. So enjoy the victory. Don't get too down because you know, we've kind of spoiled draft position, because we're gonna take a swing at the guy and hopefully we'll finally get it right. But just recognize that there is a ton of work to do with this team, and you know, special teams is not gonna. Hopefully, the special teams can stay at this top level over the next few years of the Glenn regime, and So when we actually can get some progress on either side of the ball, we can enjoy it.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. And you're 1,000% right. The special teams, again, was a huge reason why the Jets won.
I hug him every day. I hug him every day.
I'd give Nick Folk, Quantez Stiggers, Isaiah Williams, who I haven't even mentioned yet. He had that great return that set up another score for the Jets. I'd give him a hug if I could. A Woody-style hug. Look, Banjo's been the most impressive coach that Glenn has hired. He's been outstanding. I was a player a couple of years ago. So, look, they still have a lot they need to improve. But, again, they are improving. They are not one of the worst teams in the league. They're not a good team, but they're not, bottom 3 in the league. And they'll take a swing on a quarterback. I agree with Kyle. We don't know who. We don't know which quarterbacks are going to come out. But they'll take a swing on someone. And you have to hope that they get it right with that swing. Jets Worldwide says, big win today. Banjo, great hire. Just throw me the damn Keyshawn jersey. Jets Worldwide is in the Asmaniac raffle for 2. Hit it. Yeah. Big fella. How about that catch by Lazard? Crazy game. By the way, Lazard being active today annoyed me because Arian Smith was inactive. Oh, it's raining, Jake. They want the better blocker. Really? Play Arian Smith over Alan Lazard. I don't care that Lazard could block a little better. Whatever. But yeah, that catch was nuts. At least he caught it. I'm telling you, the Jets finally had some things happen to them that always happens against them. And that Lazard play was a great example. That never happens. In the past, if that happens when the game actually matters, that pass is intercepted, right? We've seen that so many times. That pass gets picked off. It doesn't magically go into Alan Lazard's hands. It gets picked off and probably intercepted and returned the other way for a touchdown. That is Jets football when the games matter until they don't. So, I get why the tanking people are not in love with the win. I understand, but it is what it is. We can't control it. It is what it is. If you have competent people running your team, it doesn't matter where you pick. You can find good players. Find a quarterback. Look at the best teams in the league. Where did they get their quarterbacks? Seriously. More calls right now, folks. His Colts lost a brutal one today.
You'll never get my chicken soup recipe. I'm not saying that Lowski takes steroids. I need some of it. Hey, Charles! Who is that lovely lady? Send it this way, Charles!
Hello, Jake. How are you?
I'm good, Charles. The Jets won a football game. The Colts lost, helping the Jets
Jake,
draft
I watched
position.
both games, Jake. I watched both games.
Now, how did you watch both games?
On CBS and on Fox. And I got to say, Fox did not do a very good job editing the game today.
Charles, what's up with your internet?
Nothing. Everything's fine.
It's horrendous.
My internet's fine right now.
It's very choppy.
Not on my end.
I'll tell you what. Reset your StreamYard. Come back to us, and we'll talk things out like men. And he's gone. Beautiful. Speaking of men, manly men, it's time.
It's turkey time. Gobble, 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 gobble. That was the best heavyweight fight we've ever saw in professional sports. Two teams duking it out one-on-one, almost 15 rounds, punching each other so hard in the face that they were coming back for more. And then towards the fourth quarter, both teams looked like they were both bloodied up in for the best fight of the year. Apollo looked like a mess. Rocky looked like a mess. What did Apollo tell his manager? You ain't stopping this fight, man. And what did Rocky tell his manager? You stop this fight, I'll kill you. And what did they both do? They both went in the center of the ring, still fought, still put on a great fight. And what did Apollo tell Rocky?
Yeah, it is.
Well said, Beast. Every point, extraordinary. All right, back to your calls. Will this work?
Hi, I'm Charles, and I'm going to talk about Spider-Man and movies and sports and video games and maybe hot chicks.
Is it better now, Jake?
We'll find out, Charles. So now, did you have two TVs on at the same time?
No,
How did you see both
when
Colts?
the Jets were on break, I turned on the Colts game. When the Colts were on break, I turned back on the Jet game.
How could you be a diehard Colts fan, though, and miss some plays?
It was on commercial break, I said.
But it sounds like you didn't see every play from your Colts.
Well, I wasn't there earlier today, was I?
Sounds like you missed some plays from the Colts.
Doesn't matter. They lost. So,
Are you concerned that the Colts are going to collapse because you brought some of your Jet karma to the fan base?
maybe not. Are we actually going to have a serious conversation?
That was a serious question.
Is that Jake Asman the friend or Jake Asman the show host?
Well, I mean, I'm the same person. My job is to be a show
you're
host.
Both two different entities.
No, I'm the same person.
Are you sure? I don't know, Jake.
This is my job, but I'm also the person.
True, but Nick Shine tells me when I'm on the air, he's got to put on a show. And then...
Well, I am putting on a show right now. There's 700 people currently watching you right now.
Yes, and for all those people in the chat that want me to leave, I guess you never really were my friends. And for that, you are dead to me.
Well, I think they aren't happy that you abandoned the Jet fan base.
I didn't abandon them. I abandoned the organization. There's a difference.
Yeah, but we didn't abandon the Jets. We're still rooting for them.
Just because I abandoned a team doesn't mean I abandoned a fan base.
Well, a lot of people took it personally, Charles.
Well, I missed the part where that's my problem. If they're going to get booty hole hurt because I made a decision that was best for me this year, sometimes you got to do the quote-unquote wrong thing at the right time.
Do you have any regrets?
That matters. Do I have any regrets about what?
Leaving the Jet fan base.
I didn't leave the fan base. I left the team. People are going to say whatever they want. I could care less.
Also, is booty hole hurt a common term of yours?
It's something I learned from watching a lot of YouTube videos a long time. It's better. It's the cleaner way of saying getting butt hurt.
Really? I couldn't pick up on that.
Now, as for the game, I thought...
Hold on. Mike Perez makes a great point. You once referred to me as Nick Shine's friend, and now you have the audacity to question our friendship?
Well, technically, you are Nick Shine's friend.
Right.
And technically, you are still my friend somewhat, including your brother, Zach.
I'm your friend, Charles, but I'm also an entertainer doing a show right now. Both things are true.
That's exactly my point. You, the entertainer.
I am a sports talk show host doing a sports talk show about the Jets, and you betrayed the Jet fandom and left the fan base.
To you, I did, but I did not.
I think to the Jet community, you're upset with people in the chat. Well, people in the chat aren't happy with you.
Well, too bad. You know, honestly, people want to give me crap. People want to wish bad things onto me. And honestly, if they can't respect me as an individual who want me to, I do what's best for me. You can't tell me how to be a fan.
Peter Castro says, Charles, a good man, just a bit of a fraud.
I'd rather a fraud, whatever. Listen, I watched the Jet game today. I'm happy they won.
And the Colts game.
Yes, and the Colts game. People saying, oh, it's not that serious. Trust me, people were giving me crap in the chat earlier today before you brought in the link, and I blocked Jay Reeves. I blocked Black Gypsy. I blocked Jay Lebster. I blocked Beast. He was giving me crap. So honestly, I
you blocked people that were making comments to you about leaving the Jet fan base.
I blocked people that were disrespecting me. I blocked people.
What was considered disrespectful?
Well, they were telling me to leave. They were telling me to leave. They were telling me to take a hike. They were telling me to.
To be fair, a hike would be good. That's a form of exercise.
It's a figure of speech to leave, Jake.
Is it?
Yes.
Now, Peter Castro says Charles is a bit of a cross-dresser. Is this true?
No, I'm not a cross-dresser.
Jetpack says, get this weirdo Colts fan off my screen.
You see exactly my point. People are giving me crap. And you know what?
Is that a block-worthy comment, though? I'm trying to understand, what is block-worthy?
People, instead of me losing my current cursing almost every 5 seconds, this is me being as calm as I possibly can.
Black Gypsy says, you brought bad voodoo to the Colts. Bad juju, Gorman. And now Sauce is hurt. I think you're responsible.
It is what it is, Bub. Look, can I please have a conversation?
I thought we're having a conversation.
A different one.
Okay. What would you like to discuss?
I would like to discuss the fact that I do think the Jets have a bright future at Olu Fashanu and with Amon Membu at tackles, even though Membu had his worst game, gave up 2 sacks, and he had a few false start penalties. I thought, Tyrod played well enough to win the game. But honestly, I think they need to utilize Breece Hall more in the pass game, and need to give him the ball more. I mean, there was one play I didn't like where they did an end around to John Mechie. That was stupid. And obviously the defense wasn't that great. Obviously the stupid worm dance by McCreary Ball was complete garbage.
Any chance we could get you to reenact that?
No, I'm not doing that, Jake.
I think that would win people over, though, Charles. If you want to
I'm not doing it, Jake, and that's final.
Well, hold on. I think it's a pretty easy dance to do, right? You literally just get on the ground and you kind of do like a worm-like thing. Honestly, to everyone out there watching, tell Charles in the chat that you will accept his apology.
Jake,
if
don't
Gorman
do this crap.
Charles,
if
I'm on your side.
Accept me for who I am as a person, then they can take a hike.
I'm trying to help you, Charles.
I did what was best for me. You can't tell me how to be a sports fan. You can't tell me how I would live my life. You can't tell me.
Charles, I'm trying to help you. This video will be seen more than any.
Help me with what, Jake?
You said you don't like the chat going after you. This video will be seen by more of my listeners than any video I post all week. This is your opportunity to win those people over. Give us the seizure celebration. Give us the Gorman. Turn this into yours. Hey, we gotta move the camera back because our angle right now is just of your gut. See if you can put it up against something and then move back.
You put it towards the front. I gotta put it in a different direction.
Don't rip ass.
That was you, Jake. Stop it.
Here, I'll give you some great music for this moment. You ready? Ladies and gentlemen, Gorman doing the seizure celebration. Here it is on the screen, folks. This is what Charles Gorman is reenacting right now. He wants your support. Here we go, Gorman. Give us the seizure.
Oh.
I'm reading the comments. They're all positive. Common Country, I forgive them. Party with Peg and Artie. Charles, you're a great man. Good guy, Greg. What a trooper. Oscar, sorry, Charles. We're glad to have you back.
Shaking my damn head. Whatever. Can I stop now?
Keep going. You're winning people over. Timothy says, thank you, Jake, for this content. He loves it. Jets Worldwide. We love Charles. Gary King. Charles is the best. Mike Perez, first time you cleaned your floor. Great point. 305, Charles, your neck beard has reached legendary status.
I'm going to shave it soon.
Hey, make sure you use more of your arms. He does some arm flapping in his.
All right, I'm done.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is a man that has earned your support. Give it up for the great Charles Gorman.
Hey, Charles! You'll never get my chicken soup recipe. Hey, Charles! I'm not saying that those he takes steroids. Please, some of it. Hey, Charles! Who is that lovely lady? Send it this way, Charles!
Now that, my friends, that was a little bit of a nice little workout. Now let's return to Jake Asman, shall we?
Man, I'm fired up after that. I'm gifting 5 memberships right now. We only have 7 in the show. Charles got me feeling nice after that performance. Jets got a win. Ladies and gentlemen, 5 gifted memberships coming your way. Remember, Raffles Tuesday for the signed items. You can win a Jets jersey of your choosing at the end of the show. Pick the player you want the jersey in. 5 memberships officially on the board. Who got them? We'll tell you right after this.
It's up to you, New York, New York.
Capsize, Cactus Johnny, World Sack Center. Let's see. There's 2 more. K Weeble and Sith Happens, all receiving a gifted membership. So if you got one, you're in the raffle at the end of the show. All right. Great job by Gorman there. Ladies and gentlemen, more of your calls. This guy doesn't call in often, but when he does, I mean, he usually has plenty to add to the conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, Gator is on the line. Hello, Gator.
Hey, Jay, can you hear me?
No.
I got to say, I was ready to come in and slam Charles with everything I have. But damn it, if he doesn't just continuously do this over and over and over and just win me back. I'm speechless. I wanted to destroy him with every ounce of my being about how disgusted I am and how I don't want to see him on this show. But I completely changed my mind, as always.
How could you not? I mean, that man left it all on the line for this community.
Man, he just brings it when I think this it's just not even possible to bring it anymore. Man, I kind of wish we'd have had a different angle, but I think it probably would have gone bad if we'd have seen something fall out. All right, so I wrote some points down because I'm not really good at this stuff, and I didn't want to bore your audience, and I'm not gonna probably break any new ground here. But here's what I took from the game. AD Mitchell might have been a steal. I think he needs to work on his yak. It seems to me like he falls down every catch, or he's catching all the balls really low. I don't know if that's all on Tyrod or him, but even that touchdown bomb happened as he was falling down, and the defender fell down. So as great of a magical play as that was, I don't know if that would have happened if the defender hadn't have fallen down. Did I see that right?
I think they got a break with him falling down, but him getting open in the first place is kind of what sets it up with his speed and breaking downfield. Sure. I think you're right to the yak point. I don't think he had, I can't think of too many plays today where he had any yards after the catch. So that's all fair. Look, you got to remember, this guy's in his 2nd year, and this is truly his first opportunity to really get consistent playing time. So there's a lot of untapped potential, but that's why, again, going to Tyrod allows you to have opportunities to evaluate a player like him, and we saw that today.
Yeah, no, it's encouraging. And I'm encouraged by Glenn. I've been as hard on Glenn as anybody, but it does seem as though he's improving. But I did want to ask you about what was the deal in that last series of clock rundown? That seemed like a bit of a mess. Like, what the hell was he trying to do? I know he was trying to get the clock so that they couldn't get the ball back, but it seemed even the announcers were like, "What the hell's he doing?"
Yeah, they clearly were trying to get closer for Nick Folk there, right? They ran a couple of the pass plays. They were trying to run like the quick out, but they didn't have anything in their playbook that was going to work there without any timeout. So they were so concerned about potentially throwing over the middle and not having enough time to then get up to the line of scrimmage and clock it to set up the kick that Tyrod played it ultra safe. And the second the first read wasn't there, he just threw it out of bounds. I mean, but the issue that happened was they took a false start with the game on the line. Like, if they lost, we would only be talking about that play today where it was classic Jets. Everyone but the center jumped. Like, that was the penalty. Like, that was really bad, and they got away with it.
Yeah. No, and clearly he's getting better, but he still has a lot of like stuff to work on because he kind of embarrasses himself when he does shit like that. Because when you have the announcers like making mention of how you're coaching and how you're making decisions, I mean that doesn't do you very well. Muji clearly is doing a really good job. I mean, I'm just repeating what you've said and what a lot of people seem to have said. Sauce getting hurt, hope he's okay. But, the Colts losing is going to continue to help us. I always thought he had these pixie stick legs, and I was shocked he didn't get hurt more often. Like, the guy is so lanky, and when we re-signed him, and then traded him, I was actually kind of happy because I just look at his body, and I feel like he's always one hit away from getting broken in half. So I know this was a non-contact thing, but like I said, I hate to see him hurt. But maybe it
Rodgers
helps
got
us.
hurt too, by the way. Speaking of
I saw
your
he had
favorite
blood
players,
coming out of his nose. I didn't see what happened though.
he got sacked by Bosa from behind, and strip sack, fumble return, other way for a touchdown. And then Mason Rudolph came in, threw a pick, and here are the Bills up 10-7, 2nd and goal, hand off to Cook. See if they score here. It could be 3rd and goal coming up from the 2-yard line.
Hopefully, he didn't make that wrist any worse. I'd hate to see him have to miss any more games with that broken wrist. But whatever. Who cares? Not our team, I guess. As for the tank, fans need to stop. Players and coaches can't throw games. Period. I mean, maybe that last game we bench a few starters and we play kids, but that's the extent of the tank. And honestly, if Buffalo has something to play for, we kind of owe it to the league in the process, to put our starters in there and try to win the game.
I think they will try and win, but if the Bills show up, they should be able to win their last ever game in that stadium against the Jets,
Yeah, for sure. I still hate this team. They bring pain, win or lose, regardless. Let me ask you a question. What's this team's record if Tyrod had started all the games and we never had Justin Fields?
Well, it's tricky because I just don't trust Tyrod had stayed healthy. If you guaranteed me health, I think the Jets probably have at least 2, if not 3 more wins, you could argue, if you guaranteed me Tyrod Taylor was healthy and had like a full training camp where he was the number 1 QB. And that's the other thing too. I think if they had a real open competition this summer and didn't just hand Fields the job, I think Tyrod Taylor would have won a competition. He's a better quarterback.
Yeah, no, for sure. And last thing I got is listening to you this morning. As always, great job on ESPN. I thought Dick Chimney brought up a really good point when he talked about the carryover when you win games at the end of a season, and sometimes the players and coaches or even fans talk about how that's great because it can carry over to next season. And he shot that down, basically saying that's not a thing. Okay, what happens at the end of the season, win or lose? None of that gets carried over to the next season because a third of your team or more isn't even here. So I really liked his take on that. I don't know if I got it quite right.
Well, the question is, are we referring to like, oh, you win the last game of the year? Not that's like, remember Salah's like, that's our first win in 2024. We already got it when they beat Belichick in the last, like, there was no carryover off that. I think the wins, they matter, right? Because you want to say that, oh, Glenn's program is working, guys are buying in, but them playing better is them buying in. And the result of that is winning games. So, like, to me, if they're winning like a couple games at the very last end of the year, like they beat the Bills, that to me doesn't carry over. But I think a game like today could carry over when A.D. Mitchell is having his breakout game, scoring his first touchdown, having 8 catches for over 100 yards. A.Z. Thomas is, getting a real opportunity to start, and he's making plays. Like that stuff I think can carry over. Finishing the year strong with a big winning streak, I don't think that necessarily translates to the following. I think that was the point that me and Rich were trying to discuss during that conversation.
Gotcha. Right on. All right. Great job as always, buddy.
Gator, you're a legendary figure, and thank you for all you do.
Jets, Jets.
Not bad. Now let's go back to Jake. Take it away. And Fox's commentary. Fox, you suck.
Jets, Jets.
All right, last chance to get in here. Hit the like button. If you're one of the 600 in here, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We gifted 5 memberships earlier in the show. This comment's funny from Angelina. Do we think Ulbrich is taking a, quote, hard look at the last drive? Nobody took harder looks than Jeff Ulbrich, man. God. It's a good question, Gator. I think if you guaranteed Tyrod Taylor's health, I think the Jets would have more win. The Jets are if Tyrod started all 17 games, I think the Jets probably finish with 6 or 7 wins. Whereas if Fields played the rest of the games, they're probably finishing 2-15 or 3-14. The issue with Tyrod is durability. I mean, the guy got hurt in training camp. He got hurt when he played against Carolina, so he couldn't start the Bengals game. Like, enjoy these wins because, Fields could be back out there as early as next week if Tyrod, it looked like Tyrod got hurt on a play in this game today. It's that hard hit where his head hit the turf and he got up, thankfully. But again, if Tyrod plays the whole year, they don't go out there and lose some of the games they've already played this year. But the issue is you can't turn injuries off in real football. It's not Madden where you could turn off injuries. Like Tyrod's story is that he gets hurt a lot. If he wants to come back next year, though, I'm not against Tyrod Taylor, Gardner Minshew, or I don't know, Marcus Mariota, like one of the, bad options, bad quarterbacks, but like you got to pick someone, 2 vets and a rookie. That'd be my quarterback room. And if Tyrod's one of the vets, I'm okay with that. He's a great dude. Guys love him. He's competent. Like, I'm okay with that if that's the strategy. Shout out to our guy Black Gypsy, who's in the Asmaniac raffle for 1. More of your calls right now. Gusbuster hotline link is pinned. Happy Black Friday weekend to all. We got a big sale on jakeasman.com going through tomorrow through Cyber Monday. Just use the promo code Black Friday at checkout, and it's 30% off every item in the store. More calls. Frank is on the line. He's next. What's up, Frank?
What's up, Jake? Good win today. It's not always pretty, but I'd rather take ugly wins than pretty losses. Rod Taylor, one thing I think that I like about him, and I live in Tampa. I listened to Baker Mayfield speak about him, and Mayfield said that he's a pro's pro. He helps out the young guys. He never is. He's never willing to always just put himself first. So I'm with you on the comment that if you bring back Tyrod Taylor next year, and you bring in another vet behind him because he does have injury issues, it's a good thing for the Jets because he just seems like one of those guys that's just willing to teach and willing to help out quarterbacks. And listen, I think you're right. I think if he had started 3 more games, the Jets probably eke out 2 more wins. They were probably 2 wins ahead of schedule. But I mean, listen, the New York Jets, the good thing is, for me, I've always believed that good vibes do carry over. I know that some people don't believe that. I think that good vibes do carry over. I think if you see people buying into Glenn's system, if they could go on a little run and they could knock off, 3 more wins this season, it's more of these players that come back next year and say, okay, I can see where this team is going. I can see where the direction is going. Detroit Lions fans had to have faith in, Dan Campbell. It started out really ugly. And I get it. The Lions are starting with, the bare minimum. The Jets had way more talent when Aaron Glenn took over than Dan Campbell had when Detroit took over. But, I mean, for all intents and purposes, Detroit Lions fans looked at trading Matthew Stafford for Jared Goff was a throw-in. Jared Goff was a throw-in. Sometimes you just make do. Good coaches make do. And if you have a program that's, set up to be successful, players see that, they buy into it. I think that's a good thing. And I think giving young guys more time to play in Aaron Glenn's system, I'm not crazy about Steve Wilks as defensive coordinator, but allowing them to see what they're trying to build and experience and go through those tough times. The Jets have to beat bad teams in order to start becoming good. Like, good teams beat up on bad teams. They feast on bad teams. They may have slip-ups here and there, but you have to beat up on bad teams. So when you beat up a bad team, fans can't say, well, it was just against a bad team. You have to start building some momentum somehow, some way. So I like Muji's moves. I like Aaron Glenn's trajectory is getting a little bit better for me. I was very negative on him to start the season, but I do like the way he's starting to show a little bit more here and there. It's not perfect, but I think especially if they could knock off another 2, maybe 3 wins, I think next year will be a lot easier for him. He'll slip into that role. It'll come a little bit more natural to him. So I'm rooting for the Jets. I always do. It's a love-hate relationship with the Jets. They cause a lot of pain, but I'll take any win I can get. As a Jets fan, it's at some point you have to start just being positive about the team and finding silver linings here and there. And
Here's the thing, Frank. People want to see improvement, but then they get mad with wins. Like, there's a very fine line towards improvement, but still losing. Like, it's hard to replicate what they did against the Ravens, for example, because they didn't play the Ravens today. They played a team that talent-wise is pretty even, coaching-wise pretty even to what the Jets have been, right? Like, so you're naturally going to stumble into some wins when you're at home. They were 3-point underdog. It wasn't like they were like a big underdog. This is a big upset. Like, if you want improvement means you're going to win some games here. And like, that's part of it. And it doesn't mean that the Jets' big picture goals are altered. They need a quarterback, and they still need their head coach to continue to get better and learn from what has been, a real tough start to his tenure here. But like, again, like, I can't sit here and say I want to see improvement and then be pissed off that they won a game. Like, part of the improvement is you're actually winning games, and that's what they did today.
Right. And my whole thing is like, I could understand if you're let's say 0-10, 0-11, and you're just saying, all right, the season's gone off the rails. It's been horrible. Now we focus on, we start looking ahead, draft position and whatnot. But wins matter. Wins matter to players. These players aren't just packing it in and saying, all right, the season's over, let's just go. Because essentially, players, we all know that NFL contracts, unless you're a mega superstar, you really don't get these long-term guarantees. A lot of them, they have, GMs are very crafty, and we saw that with Joe Douglas, where he had escape plans after 2 years. Players are still playing for contracts. They're playing for pride and for money. If you put bad tape out there, it doesn't mean that you're going to get a big deal. Like, Hassan Reddick, his situation, he ended up on a 1 year, I think, $13 million deal with Tampa this year. So it's not like he got, the money that he wanted from the Jets. He had to settle for a 1 year prove-it deal with Tampa. So these players aren't just packing it in and saying, all right, I'm done. That's it. The season's over. So these wins do matter. I just don't like when fans say, show me improvement, but don't go and win games. Showing improvement comes with winning games too. It's just the way it is. So I hate when fans say, don't improve, or improve but don't win. Show us that you have talent, but go make sure that you lose the game. It just never makes any sense to me.
1,000% agree with you, man. Frank, great call. Great call. They won a game. And I'll tell you what, this will make you and everyone out there happy. This was Aaron Glenn in the locker room addressing the team.
Who wanna fly? Guys, we always say this, and it's always gonna be pretty. Man, offense, defense, special teams! I got one game ball. I played with this. Nick, where you
Appreciate it. It's a great job today. We started fast, we sustained it, and then we finished at the end. So it's a great job. Let's keep it going next week. Got a division opponent coming in, so let's keep it going. Yeah! Jets on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yes, sir. Nick Folk, baby. Folk, yeah. 41 years old. As clutch today in 2025 as he was in January of 2011 when he was hitting a kick to send the Jets to Foxborough to play the Patriots in the playoffs. Legend. Imagine the Jets had Nick Folk last year, by the way. Anyone else think about that? The amount of games Zerline cost him earlier in the year. Everything could have been different. Robert Saleh might still be employed. Who knows? Probably not, but who knows? Unbelievable. All right, last chance to get in on the show. We do have the raffle coming up here, so I want to give people a chance to win a Jets jersey, Jets Legends jersey, Broadway Joe, Keyshawn Johnson, Nick Mangold, Revis, Corbett, Curtis, Klecko. And then again, raffle 51 is Tuesday morning. We got a signed Mosley helmet, signed LaDainian Tomlinson jersey, and a signed Darrelle Revis jersey. Those are the jerseys and helmets up for grabs. If you enter a daily raffle, you're automatically entered in a weekly raffle. Max says we need Arch Manning. Well, Arch Manning is not coming out this year. So maybe in 27, but who knows? There's too much between now and then to worry about for Arch Manning. Is he even going to be worth a first-round pick at that point? Who knows? The Ghost says Jermaine should be traded for a second in the offseason. I don't know about that. How about Jermaine Johnson is here next year because he's a really good player. He'll be better coming off the Achilles a year removed from it. And let's see what they could do around Jermaine Johnson. Why are we trying to just trade good players, right? Like, you don't do that unless you're just getting blown away with value. I'm not finding a better player than Jermaine Johnson at a premium position with a second-round pick. Don't create more holes than you need to. By the way, I just saw the score. God, the Vikings stink, man. I see it's 26-0. I obviously have not been really watching the game doing the show. Is Darnold just killing his old team? Let's see Sam's stats here as of this moment. Sam, 14 of 26. He doesn't have a touchdown thrown. It's been good. Is Max Brosmer just crapping himself? Is that what's happening? Yeah, oh yeah. he's throwing a pick 6. He's throwing 2 picks. 3 picks. Yeah. Yeah, the Vikings are a mess. They are a mess. Let's see. Hit the like button if you guys are just tuning in. Raffle coming up. The Ghost says they were running at Clemens all day. Well, Clemens is bad. We know this. He did have a sack today. Beast says, hell no, Jermaine Johnson is staying. I agree. I agree with the Beast. David says, wasn't Folk under contract last year? He's with the Titans. Nick Folk was with the Titans last year. Let's make sure I didn't miss any super chats here. I'm just seeing this from Oscar. Jay, do you think Charles has put out more job applications than YouTube Shorts? He does have a lot of those. For those who missed the Gorman call, please timestamp it in the comments afterwards for everyone watching live. We had Charles Gorman recreate the stupid penalty that Marcelino McCrary Ball picked up where he was like having like a seizure. It looked like the seizure celebration. Unbelievable. All right. To your remaining calls. Unless anyone else calls in, this guy is in line to be today's closer on the post game. Hit it.
Adam is cool, although kind of basic. He claims he's too cool, though often quite basic. He makes great jet points, looks a little basic. Adam is cool, too cool, but basic. Some would say generic.
Hey, Jake.
Hello, Adam.
I feel like you had a lot more faith in Folk making that 56-yarder than I think a lot of the fans, because he missed 55.
I know, but this is the game the Jets typically win. Like, I just expected them to win throughout the day, and now, once the false start happened, my confidence wavered a little bit, but I still thought he was going to hit it ultimately. I really did.
I mean, he barely did, but that's all I care about. He got it. And great on the team to win that game because, there was no Garrett. They're still trying to figure out who's going to rise up with Quinnen and Sauce Gone. This team, it was a collective effort today. Was there one player that really individually stood out and dominated, or just a collective team win against a mediocre to bad team?
It's a team in their weight class. It's like if you want to, again, my big thing is validating what we have seen as far as the improvement, but you're still not winning. Mm-hmm. If you want to validate that you are improving, you have to win some of these games against teams that are on the same level as you. And they did that today.
Exactly. They're clearly not the worst team. That's the reality. They're not the worst team. And I mean, good for us. But the tanking part to me also is just pent up frustration by everybody that has been just sick of the losing, right?
Well, people want the quick fix, but the reality is there is no quick fix to this. You know what I mean? It's going to take more than just getting a quarterback drafted to automatically fix everything.
Yeah, the logic doesn't work for me because it's okay, let's tank so we get a good QB. But it's the same folks that are going to be well, AG can't develop a QB. So you're telling him to basically tank so he can get himself fired. Why would he do that? The logic doesn't track. So I think we just got to let this season play out. I think this was a great win because there's some the next 2 games are also, I think, winnable week class level games, right? It's Miami and it's
in Jacksonville is tough. New Orleans is the game after the Jaguars game. But yeah, I mean, look, even that game, it's not it's oh my God, they have no chance. But yeah, here's your look at the schedule. It's Miami, then Jacksonville, then New Orleans.
Yeah, and look, I mean, even against last 2 weeks of the season too will be very interesting. And I think 4 to 5 is probably in our grasp. It's kind of what a lot of folks were really thinking from the jump. So no one should be acting too surprised. But I think that the way that the second half could finish is kind of what you're looking for. I didn't think we were going to have this amazing start to the season and take the league by storm with the talent we got. But if we can, get 500 after the bye, that is improvement, period. Now, where it comes from, I think, is a debate. So I got a question for you. How much of the improvement to the team is all of the midseason moves Muji's been making versus actual improvement in the coaching?
There has been improvement, no doubt. But, today Muji should get a lot of praise. I mean, A.D. Mitchell was a throw-in to the Sauce trade, which was, they just got picks for Sauce. It was a great deal from a value standpoint. Getting a guy who had 100 yards today and 8 catches and has looked like a real playmaker through 3 games. Like, that's really good GMing by the Mooj.
Yeah, and he's getting guarded by the CB1. So what happens when Garrett's back?
Right.
And CB1's got to be on him. I think and A.D. Mitchell has this penchant of being open all the time. He's going to crush CB2s when
He
Garrett's
should.
back.
And look, I think in a perfect world, he's your number 3 next year. I still think they could continue to upgrade at receiver. They have draft picks. They have free agent money. Like, you can never have too many weapons. And we learned this with the Sam Darnold experience. Like, I'd rather have too many good players than not enough. Like, that's the reality.
Agreed. And I really hope they lock up Brees. I hope that the winning will help, improve Brees' spirits. We give him a very, fair deal. Like we've given all the other, performers on the team, whether it's Garrett or Sauce or Quinnen, like we've paid, we've rewarded the talent when they show up, and Brees has shown up, and I give him a lot of credit.
I think he gets signed. I do. Based on how Glenn has spoken about him the last few weeks and how Brees has in particular played down the stretch here.
Yes.
Now Braylon Allen, I think look, I'm going to give the Jets the benefit of the doubt, which is dangerous when you're a Jet fan. I think that because they didn't trade Brees and Brees has played well and Glenn has said what he has said about him, I think they're going to sign Brees Hall.
Yeah, they're going to do that. And they just don't want to overpay. And I think that makes sense too, because you don't really know what the market is looking like. I mean, that the franchise tag might actually make sense if for whatever reason the sides can't agree on something. The tag is fine for running back of his caliber. It's fine.
Agreed. Worst case, he's tagged, but ideally you work something out where he's extended. Let's say it's a 3-year deal, first 2 guaranteed.
But there's nobody else that we need to tag. Like he's the one we tag.
He's the guy. There's no one else that's a free agent that you're like, we need to bring. Like it's literally their entire offseason is quarterback retaining Brees and then building up the rest of the roster.
Exactly. So I mean, I think the potential's good. I know I was being a little bit of a homer, being like the potential's undeniable. But when I just see like all of the signs are
I like the optimism. I do. It's
trending up.
I just can't go. It's undeniable. Like I got to see more. But look, I'm with you. I think they're in a better spot than they certainly were when I was entertaining phone calls from people telling me they're going to go 0-17.
Oh yeah, there were first half of the season was absolutely decrepit. Like, there was no hope. And then these Muji moves been going on every other week, and slowly the puzzle pieces are starting to fit together. Where we obviously know we need a QB. We obviously know we need an edge, more than one edge. We need another wide receiver. We need another corner. As well, like a third corner to go along with Stevens and AZ. Like we know what everyone knows what we need, and it's not like a big mystery. Now the question is going to be: is the coaching going to step up? Because we will get to the point where it's kind of been like what we've had before, where the roster was good, the coaching wasn't, and that kind of made the difference. So I think that we'll have to wait and see. But at least from a culture standpoint, this team is starting to figure it out. They're figuring out how not to lose. I mean, this was remember they clutched up against Atlanta. In the final drive they had. They did not do that against Tampa Bay. I was actually kind of worried that they didn't learn their lesson. They went and scored with 2 minutes left. That's plenty of time for a methodical offense to march down the field, kick a field goal, and win the game. I thought they left too much time on the table when they scored, but turns out it was all right. But or maybe I'm getting little things off here, but I just think in the end, just got to be really they got to keep improving the coaching, and I hope that maybe we make some changes there too after a self-assessment. Because I think that especially when you have a new QB coming in, we really need a rock star. We need that Knapp kind of caliber QB coach, because that was just a tragic. There's so much tragedy in the last 15 seasons for the Jets, right? There's all these sort of hidden little things that really added to the calamity, like Rodgers' Achilles, Knapp freak death. These things are just crazy because in a parallel universe, Zach Wilson could have been our guy. He had the arm, he had the talent if he was coached up right. Could have been a completely different trajectory for us, but it wasn't in the cards. It wasn't meant to be. But what was meant to be was that we won this game. I think Falk pulled out the vintage, clutched up on the win. Let's get another win next week. I think it's a winnable game, and let's see if we can get 4 or 5 wins and see if we can surprise a Jacksonville, surprise a New England at home, and play a little spoiler. I think playing spoiler is a lot of fun. I think the team, as it stands today, is very motivated to spoil other people's seasons because we know our season's shot, but we can make it really difficult. We can be a very hard out for the rest of the season if we keep kind of doing what we're doing.
We'll see, because that New England game will be a real test. Buffalo, the last game of the year. But again, next week, it's a winnable game. Let's see. Can they keep building on what they're doing, right? Like if they go off and keep winning games here, how could you be upset if they're on a prolonged winning streak? But we got a lot of football to be played before we entertain that conversation. But I'm glad you're positive, Adam, because football is supposed to be fun. And if you watch that game today and you had fun, that's what it's supposed to be all about.
Got to savor the win. Can't be living in the past forever. I mean, but we're the butt of all jokes historically. It doesn't mean we have to like live and breathe that every day. It doesn't have to be us. Let's just enjoy the win. We're not the laughing stock of the week, and that's okay. I'll live with that.
Jets, Jets.
We're not a laughing stock of the week. That is true. Josh Allen rushing touchdown. Pittsburgh is putting it on the Steelers right now. I mean, Buffalo putting it on the Steelers right now. Ravens play the Bills next week, so that will be fascinating. Steelers, they're going to lose this in all likelihood. They'll be 6-6. The Ravens are 6-6. Now look, now the Bengals are very much alive. Now they're going to have to run the table, but they play the Ravens again and the Steelers twice. Do they not? Or no, they played the Steelers twice already. Am I right about that? I got to look at the Bengals schedule. They have games that are winnable though. I know they do play the Ravens twice. That I know. That I do know. The Ravens. They finish with Ravens have Steelers next week. Oh, okay. I got my AFC North teams all confused. Here's the Ravens schedule. They play Pittsburgh next week. Then they play at the Bengals, Patriots, Packers, at Pittsburgh. Not easy. Ton of division games. Schedule down the stretch for the Bengals at 4-8. God, imagine they didn't blow that game to the Jets. At Buffalo, which will not be easy, but they can win there. Ravens again, who they just beat. Dolphins, Cardinals, Browns. It won't be easy, but if Joe Burrow can win 2 more games, I think they're going to win out. I'd be 9-8 and maybe win. Crazy. Wrong verb. My dream scenario is getting Sellers next to Lamar. I don't know. I don't even know if he's coming out. I think he needs another year of development. He hasn't had the year they thought he was going to have at South Carolina. He might transfer. Batfellow, the fraudulator, the new arc of your character as the flatulator is twice as evil. Damn you. I have to up the bat spray strength. In reference to the Gorman call for those tuning in late. Check that one out. All right. I said Adam was going to be the closer. But today's closer is not actually Adam. Because while Adam was on hold, Black Gypsy called in. Our final call before the raffle. Hit it.
I'm Black Gypsy. I'm here to set all you delusional Jets fans straight. Your takes make me want to punch you in the face or kick you in the crotch. When this team sucks, they suck. I'm Black Gypsy. I'm Black Gypsy. I'm Black Gypsy. I'm Black Gypsy.
Love my intro game. That's just awesome. I don't know how to feel about today's game. Like, I'm happy that we won. But, like, OC-wise, not a good game call for him. Like, he didn't use Brees a lot. Like, defense-wise, we showed up in certain points. So, like, I don't know. Like, I'm at a crossroads because I want to win games. I want to see what, like, the OC can do. But is winning games with Tyrod really do anything for us other than seeing that if Mechie and Mitchell is good? Like, because that's the only real test that we have left is to see if those 2 players are good. So, like, I want to see them put in Cook and show me what they can do with a rookie just to make me feel a little bit better. Like, if they'd have won this game today with Cook, that would have been the greatest thing ever. You know what I'm saying? Because, like,
I don't think Cook's good enough to play right now. That's why they're not playing him.
Yeah, but that's still just like a bad look that you got this kid.
Really. He's a UDFA. The bad look was not drafting a quarterback at any point before you signed a UDFA. Like they could have taken someone with one of their 6th round picks this year, and that guy's playing right now, I believe.
I guess.
You can't expect the UDFA to come in and play. I'm not saying Brady Cook won't play the last couple games of the year, or if there's an injury to Tyrod and they go back to Fields, then I would say, come on, what are we doing? Give Brady Cook a chance. But I'm not going to criticize them for not playing Brady Cook. The whole point of this exercise was to let Tyrod get a couple games here so we could evaluate some guys. And guess what? We got a chance to evaluate some guys here.
I get it. Like, I want to see us win some games and see what we could do on offense and just see what the play calls look like. Because today, it was a lot of Tyrod just doing what Tyrod needed to do to win that game. It wasn't a lot of good play calls by the OC. Like, he took Brees out of the second half of the game, basically. Like, he didn't use him at all, at all. Sitting on the sideline where you're watching Atlanta have so many plays for Bijan, and they're comparing Bijan and Brees doing the game, and you're seeing Bijan going ape shit, and Brees is like, and it's not that hard to just throw him the ball because the offense is basically right now built around Brees. So, the game plan should be around Brees and getting Brees as many touches as possible, and then let everybody else.
I say it every week. He should have as many catches as anyone without Garrett Wilson out there, and they don't feel like the way Bijan lines up on the outside. That should be how Brees Hall's used too.
Yeah, Drake London for Atlanta is their number one, and Bijan is number two. In receptions, it should be the same thing for us. And right now, it should be probably Mason and Brees that command the most on this offense to get Mechie and Mitchell just to go nuts. Because your tight end is supposed to be a big part of your game when you have a running game. That play action normally ends up at your tight end or your running back or your fullback or receiver coming across in a slant or something. The play calls weren't good today. Wilkes coached a good enough game, still predictable, but they got stops when they needed to. If we could have did that the first half of the season, that would have been awesome. Because some of those games would have been a lot closer. But I'm happy with a win. I'll take a win. Nick Shine, optimistic, had me on board this morning because he just hyped me up. He's like, "Yeah, we're gonna win. We're gonna win. We're gonna win."
I thought they were gonna win too, man. I mean, again, Atlanta was a 4-win team that has played a lot worse in the second half after they got off to a decent start. They have been blown out by some bad teams. They had a couple impressive wins, but they're not very good. Kirk Cousins is not great. They didn't have Drake London today. To me, it was a good matchup for the Jets at home when the Jets have been playing some pretty good football. So it's not shocking they won. There were some good things to like. I get the tanking crowd being upset, but you know what? It's November 30th, and there's still a lot of games to go. And I don't think they were ever going to finish 2-15. So people need to accept that.
I think the best thing that I saw today, that what made this game kind of fun to watch, is that they played hard.
They did.
They played their asses off today. I like that. If you go out, if we had lost this game, it would have been a heartbreaker. But at the end of it, I would have said, we played hard. When we had the false start,
my God,
the Jets just fuck ups just sunk in. I was like, come on, man, Blue. Are you serious? No, bro. But Nick Folk, it's crazy. We get Nick Folk this year, and he's clutch. If we had him last year, that season would have been such. I don't think Salah would have gotten fired because Salah got fired because of those losses in the beginning of the season. It would have been such a different. But it is what it is. I mean, happy with a win. I will take a win. I hate to lose the games because in losing the games, all you have is negative, and all the positives are foreshadowed by the negative. So it's I don't want to see that shit.
It's the holiday season, Black Gypsy. The Jets have won a game.
Ho, 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 big cho.
Good call by the great Black Gypsy there. All right, Raffle coming up shortly here. Last chance to get in. And look, we still have plenty of games to go. So the idea that the Jets are the only team here that's going to win and all the other bad teams, quote unquote, are just going to finish with 1 or 2 wins. These teams are going to win too. I'm pretty sure Cleveland plays the Titans. Or do the Titans play the Raiders? There's a huge tankathon game that I'll look up real quick. Saints play us, and they also play the Titans. Okay? They could win those games. They could easily beat us, and they could beat the Titans and win a couple games. That could happen. The Titans, I think, are going to finish with the number 1 pick. They are the worst. When I watch the Titans, and I know it's not all Cam Ward's fault, but they are just a brutal football team. They're 1-11. They seemingly get blown out most weeks. I know they were competitive in their last couple, but it feels like they've been blown out more times than not this year. Their point differential is horrific. It's 170 to 328, points for versus points against. They're the worst team in the league. And I think that the Jets could wheel and deal with them. They already made a trade with them for the Brownlee trade earlier. So Muji and their GM have done a deal together. Also, great catch by Brock Bowers. I'm seeing the replay of. Somewhere out there, Gary is screaming about Brock Bowers. Last chance for the raffle. Until then, I have one more call to squeeze in. I'm sure he was at the game today. Ladies and gentlemen, JJ will close us out. Hello, JJ.
Yeah. All right, I want to start by saying I know Tyrod Taylor is a better quarterback than Justin Fields. I want to get that out in the open because what I say next, I know you guys are going to try to debate me about it. But when I looked at the offense today and we go into the third quarter with only 38 passing yards, it makes me wonder, like, what is Tanner Engstrand telling these guys all week at practice at the quarterback position? Because Tyrod looked god-awful in the first half of this game. And then it kind of seems like, in the second half, he was like, you know what, I got nothing to lose. I don't know if I'm right about this, but it seemed as if there was one drive before he threw that deep ball to Adonai Mitchell. It looked like if he didn't get it together, they were going to bench him for the rest of the game. But luckily for him and for our sake, he threw that deep ball to A.D. Mitchell, and it turned things around. But I don't know. I don't think Engstrand is the answer at offensive coordinator because I feel like the coaching just doesn't seem like it's all there. I mean, he does have a good script to start games, but it just seems like he doesn't know what to call after that. Like, he doesn't have a good feel for the game. He doesn't have a good feel for what's working, what's not working. And to be honest with you, thank God that the defender fell on that play to A.D. Mitchell because it probably would have ended up being a pick. It was kind of underthrown, but I like the fact that we finally, threw the deep ball. We need to do it more. With that being said, I'm super happy that we won because, I mean, it's a miserable thing being a Jets fan in November when it's freezing cold and it's raining outside and you're shivering and the game comes down to a last second field goal. Most of the fans that were there were all rooting for Nick Foles to make it because we didn't want to go to overtime because it was just that miserable out. And when he made it, you get that great excitement and you get to cheer and you get to have a little bit of joy. And I'll take that little bit of joy over having the number one pick because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who you pick. They have to work out. They have to pan out for your team. So for all those who want us to tank and who are mad that we won, stop being a loser is what I got to tell you. Like, if you root for your team to lose, then you're a loser. And we got to get rid of this loser mentality. It's okay to win games. It's okay to have fun as a fan. It's okay to watch your team and root for wins. It doesn't matter, where we end up in the draft. We have a lot of draft capital. And you said it before, Jake, and I don't 100% agree with you, but when you have all these first-round picks, you're going to have to pay them. So, maybe we are better off, using one of those first-round picks and getting our guy. I'll end on this, though.
That's not what
Dante
I said.
Moore.
I just said they acquired these first-round picks with the intention of not being denied if they fall in love with a quarterback.
No, but you also said, because I was debating you, and I said, hey, why don't we use all these first-round picks and get players? And then you said, well, if you do that, you got to pay them. First round picks are expensive. Remember?
But that's not like the genesis of my argument. Like, eventually that's part of it. Like, depending on what players you take. Like, if you take a running back in the first round, I think it's a bad use of a premium pick, for example. But I think there's more nuance to it. But overall, my point on the draft capital is those deals were made with the intention of being able to finally get the quarterback, and there's a lot of different ways they still can address that quarterback, and a win on November 30th is not going to ultimately impact their chances of getting a guy they like. It's just too early to determine anything with what they're going to do.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Last thing that I wanted to say, though, Ty Simpson isn't our guy. We have to get either Dante Moore or Mendoza, specifically because we need a cold weather quarterback, somebody who can play in the rain consistently, play in the cold weather. I go to a lot of Jets games, and most of the Jets games that I've gone to in my life have all been miserable, cold, wet, windy football games, and we need somebody who's going to be able to go out there and play. I don't want to take an Alabama guy who's been playing in, sunshine all his life. I want to take somebody who knows how to play in the cold. And you guys can kill me for that opinion. I don't care. But yeah, I think Dante Moore and Mendoza, they're rising in my eyes, because when we think about it, we need a big, strong quarterback who's used to playing in cold weather, because it's a lot of cold weather football games that are going to happen with this team. But other than that, I'm happy that we won. I'm sad I didn't get to see Mad Max. I know he was down there somewhere. I tried to look for him, but it got cold. So I was like, you know what? I'm sitting my butt right here and I'm not moving. But peace.
Did you
That's all I gotta say.
watch Ty Simpson lead a game-winning drive against Auburn in the Iron Bowl last night with their season
Yes,
on the line?
I did watch Ty Simpson do that. I also watch him struggle at times in that game.
They all
against
struggle.
Auburn.
No one's perfect. It's a rivalry game.
Yeah, but no one's perfect. It is a rivalry game, but at the same time, I mean, look at Ohio State versus Michigan, and look at Indiana versus, I forget who they played. They blew that team out 56.
They played Purdue. They're 2-9 Purdue. Now they're 2-10.
Listen, all I'm saying about Ty Simpson is
no, you like Justin Fields. You're a Fields truther. I don't care for your quarterback evaluation. Justin Fields is going to the Ring of Honor. It's a crapshoot, man. I thought Zach Wilson was going to be a good quarterback. I don't know. You got to. My big thing is not can they play in the cold or not. Can they handle being a New York market quarterback? It is a different beast when you're the quarterback in this town. It just is, especially if you're the Jet quarterback. Can you handle the adversity, the poor performances that inevitably are going to happen? How can you bounce back and respond to that? Not everyone can. It ate Zach Wilson alive. I don't know. I like Ty Simpson. I like Fernando Mendoza. I like Dante Moore. I'm not going to pretend like I'm an expert on any of these players because I'm not. The guys who are supposed to be experts on it, they get it wrong more than anyone. So I think we all just need to understand that there's a lot to like the process of getting a quarterback. Like there's some luck involved too. You can actually pick the right quarterback too and not have the right infrastructure in place. See the Jets with Sam Darnold, for example. All right. Who's ready for an Asmaniac raffle? I know I am. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to give away a Jets jersey. Before we give away the Jets Legends jersey, for the final time, we say hello to this man.
You tell me how crazy I am. I just took 4 chair headshots. Fox Sports, they get a grade of an F for their bad commentary. But besides all that, let's get down to this. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment we have all been waiting for. It's time to spin the El Wheel of Champions!
It's time to announce the winners of the weekly Asmaniac raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
Yeah, here we go. A raffle for a jersey. A Jets Legends jersey. But first, Black Gypsy at the end here, as he always typically does, is trying to win said jersey.
Hello? You play to win the game.
All right, Mr. Gypsy. We just gave you another entry. Good luck to Black Gypsy and everyone who's entered for a chance to win. If you win, you got to email me your name, your address, the size you want the jersey in, and the player whose jersey you want. And I'll get it ordered for you this week. Again, thanks to everyone who watches the show. Whether you watch just the post game or you watch every show, we appreciate all your support. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Like this video. Great opportunity for someone to win. Who will the will determine as today's winner? We find out right now. Jonathan Francis. Jonathan, congratulations. You're the winner. Shoot me an email, asmanjake@gmail.com, and we will get you your Jets Legends jersey.
Play the game to win.
Right, and he just won a Jets jersey. Hit the Jet chant for him. Let's go. That's a W, and that's a post-game show. You guys are the best. Thanks for watching. Take advantage of our Black Friday special through tomorrow, through Cyber Monday, 30% off all items in the Jake Asman merch store. Big shout out to Gonzo Badger, who just purchased a Jake Asman show hoodie. Bought 2 hoodies. Shout out to you, Gonzo. Appreciate you taking advantage of the Black Friday sale. Again, thank you to everyone who supports the show. Wait, is this the guy I sent to the hole? No, I don't think that was him, was it? Maybe it was. That's really funny. This is the guy. Oh, yeah, this is the guy yelling about the Woody curse. I'm just like, dude, stop it. Hey, he's a winner. He might be in the hole, but he did win. That's great. I didn't even realize that. Jonathan, if you're still out there, I will happily send you the jersey that you rightfully won. Nicholas, you're right. I did send him to the hole. That's amazing. All right. That is great. On that note, enjoy the rest of the games today. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. We got Beningo at 10 a.m. in his weekly spot. So I'm looking forward to getting Joe's thoughts on the win. Until then, I'll talk to you guys soon. JETS. Jets, Jets, Jets. Let's go, baby. Hit it.
I'm going through a very difficult crisis right now because I just lost my damn chat thing. I don't know what the fuck the hell I'm doing right now. My chat thing in the YouTube is gone. I don't know what the hell I did. I just lost it.
Your chat thing in the YouTube is gone.
We don't have to fall to pieces. Let's one step at a time.
Because I lost my temper because somebody from this year came back to piss me off even more.
Beast, just take it easy. Now, did you see the Rich Eisen clip, Beast? He's a big fan of yours. Back right here on the Michael K Show. Jake Asman in for Michael till 3 o'clock. And joining us right now is a new member of the ESPN family. He's also an
Nobody gives a shit.
Hold on. I'm having some glitches here, Rich.
Oh, that was great. That was perfect. Nobody gives a shit.
Yes, I know that, but I'm trying to figure out how to get my chat thing back. I don't even know what I'm doing.
What are you crying about it?
I'm trying to fix the chat. It's a mess. Look at it. Look.
Okay, you can't see the chat. Just hit the refresh button on your browser. Try that.
And it's driving me crazy because
Beast, why are you in tears over the YouTube chat? This is not something to cry about.
I lost everything.
You lost the chat for an afternoon. Just restart your browser first.
Hit F5, Beast. Hit the F5 button.
F5?
Yeah. There we go.
You got rid of him. This was Robbie Sabo to Beast.
You get the fuck out.
Hit F5. He's gone. You got rid of him. Are we back, Beast? Everything good?
I did an F5 on the whole thing, and
It's not showing still? What?
No, it's not showing.
All right.
Idiots. Having a rough freaking day.
Because you can't see the YouTube chat?
No.
Did you see the Cracker Barrel logo?
What in the... I don't like that picture of mine.
Was this you in the ring a couple of years ago, by the way?
What the hell are you talking about? Watch closely. You're in my house, biatch.
Good stuff there from Beast. We covered a lot.
We got the 3 dumbest morons on here. Mo, Larry, and Curly.
And your name is Shitty.
Oh, hi. Jake wants me to ask you to click on the like button.
That's right, Lane. And if they don't subscribe to the Jake Asman Show, this team may never win another game. Let's go, Jets.